There we go. There we go. We're back. And hopefully this has all been live. Oh, it has. No shot. I was muted that whole time. Fuck. Well, third time's the charm. Fucking hell. Okay. This is why I do if you really want to know why I normally keep chat on stream, this is about 90% of the reason. It is because chat is incredibly useful for telling me if I'm being an idiot. Like in this scenario. Okay, I'm looking at the stream mix. It works. Let's pull up the chat. I liked the hand motions and expressions, though. Well, thank you. Son of a shit. Okay. This is the third time I've given this. The first time, I wasn't live. I was just talking to myself. Great. Second time, apparently I was muted, but that's going to get cut out of the VOD. So if you're watching this live, you know all my dirty little secrets. And if you're watching in the VOD, I guess you had to join live. So, while I've been muted, you've certainly had enough time to maybe divine what this stream is about. It's making a video game. If you don't know, my degree, I have a college, I have a piece of paper from a college. My degree is in computer science. It was originally computer engineering, but that was too much math. It was too hard, so I switched to computer science. And since graduating, my entire professional experience has been the equivalent of making mods for video games. I've never truly made something from like 0 to 100, what you may call like full stack development. I've only made like plugins and add-ons or taken, pieces of software and built out things for individual users, which I loved. It was really great and rewarding to make software work the best it can for individual people. It was cool. It was a very like human experience sort of thing. But I kind of want to expand my horizons a little bit. And I've said before, video games market's so saturated. I'm not interested. And that's still true, but this is not me intending to make a video game that is incredible or is going to unseat any of the indie darlings. I doubt it'll even be that good, but I want to try to learn. Again, broaden my horizons, broaden my skill set, and maybe learn a thing or two with everyone along the way. I think that it's incredibly important to constantly be broadening your skill set in case I do want to do something different later down the road. And even for non-video game stuff, there's all sorts of things that this could apply to, like Discord bots and things like that. Now, I won't be documenting the entire thing on the channel. I just wanted to get the very first video to explain the concept, let everyone see kind of the baseline, but I'll certainly be still developing it off stream as well. So you might not see every second of development, but you will see a lot of it. I still want to stream a lot of it. And the streams are, surprise, surprise, probably going to be modeled sort of like a pirate software stream. Long streams, very similar to my office hours that I've already done in the past, where I'm working, listening to music, and if people want to stop in and say hi, ask questions, they can feel free. And hopefully, like I said, we'll all learn some stuff together, maybe have a cool game at the end of it. I don't know. I'm going to make something, or at least I'm going to try to make something that I would want to play, so hopefully the game will have at least one player at the end. But with all that being said, hopefully That actually went out to everyone. I don't see anyone talking in chat. Oh, I see G Hercup. There we go. There we go. Thank God. Okay, it's working. I was just about to launch Unity and work on a game of my own when I saw this stream. There you go, G Hercup. We'll all be working together. And I'm going to be following the Pirate Software guide. He has like a sort of FAQ kind of start here sort of thing on his website. So I'm going to be taking that at face value and really trying to plan out the game based on that. So now, without further ado, now that I finally actually delivered the speech, only 3 tries. Into here. There we go. We're finally here. It all makes sense. We're chilling. All right. I also just realized I need to add you guys onto the scene. Let me see. One moment. We'll put you in like the bottom. What do you want? Bottom. We'll go middle. Yeah. Or bottom right. Or maybe I just won't have chat on screen. I think I might just not have chat on screen. I don't think it's like a super big deal for this sort of stream. I think it's more important for like a super high interaction thing like Critical Role or Critical Eyes. I don't want to clutter up the screen too much. Okay. All right. Now we're actually fucking ready to go. Well, at least I am practiced at giving that speech now. Holy heck. Let's see. I made a brand new obsidian vault for it. Ooh, brand new obsidian. Whoa. And hopefully, everything goes well. Oh, wait. I should probably put this up here. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Ugh. You are on my TV. I'm sick today. Oh, no. Feel better. Feel better. You guys have seen on stream probably like the highest proportion of me like being sick in like a very short period of time. I've been getting very very frequently sick lately. It's no fun. I do not recommend. Let's see. There we go. I already made Flappy Bird clone with the GMTK tutorial. Now I'm going to recreate it from memory without looking things up. Ooh, that's a good idea. Honestly, that is probably like the real, like actual, probably like very productive way to do it. If we're being honest, is to like start with that sort of thing, like make a clone following the tutorial, do it from memory, and then like keep iterating on that until you can like make really complicated stuff from memory. That has never been how I've learned. I am definitely the type of person where I see something I want to do. Like I acquire a goal and then I break down that goal into a lot of subtasks that I then learn how to do. Which is, I think that's like definitely evidence of my computer science degree. That's what they taught us to do, is identify a goal, identify the necessary things to reach that, and then like just check those off as you go down. So I don't think it's a huge surprise that that's how I interact with it. So let's see. I had, maybe I don't have it anymore. I had his website linked for easy pull-up, but now I've lost it. That's fine. I know what the page is. I'll be able to find it. Let's see. Pirate. Is a pirate software. How to make a game. Game development. I think this is it. Yeah, okay. So first part of this, what's up, Cheeky Monkey? How you doing? First part of this is kind of gonna be, I don't know, almost half React. We're gonna read through this develop.games guide and see what we think of it and where to start. I have a baseline idea, and maybe I'll explain the baseline idea before I get too far in, so that you guys kind of understand my thoughts. And I have documented a few things that I've been thinking about, but I actually have a lot of ideas. And, oh wait, you guys can't really see them because my cam is blocking them. Let's see. There we go. So I have some ideas up here. Oh, and I just realized that this is very small, ain't it? Let's see. I also, part of this as well is this is bare bones Obsidian. I have not put any sort of sauce or additional stuff onto this Obsidian vault. And that was also part of what I wanted to do with this, because people are always asking me about Obsidian, how I have my current one organized, and all of the various plugins and shit that I have on it. And so I kind of wanted to show also the development of an Obsidian vault when I'm managing it, which is also, I find things I need to do, I identify problems, and then we work on them. So right now, I just realized, oh, all of the text is too small. Thankfully, I have a really nice plugin that I use for that already on my main Obsidian vault, so I'll just install that. So first thing is turn on plugins, browse plugins, and then we're going to do style settings. Style settings is great. It is often one of the first things I install on Obsidian, kind of unintuitively, because it doesn't actually it theoretically doesn't add functionality, but it's quasi-required for me at this point, because it is just so hard to, I don't know, organize the vault if I can't control the way it looks. So the only thing you need for style settings is you also need to go to appearance, and you need a theme called ITS, I believe. Yeah, ITS theme. So ITS theme in accordance with, and you can see it's already started to change things. ITS theme in accordance with style settings gives you basically everything you need. So let's make an alternate. Let's just do a quick alternate color scheme. Let's see. What does this one look like? Pathfinder Remaster, Pathfinder. I need to make it look distinct from my main vaults. That's one of the main ways that I differentiate my vaults, is by making their styles very distinct from each other. Ooh, I kind of like this red and blue sort of thing. Yeah, we're going to do that. Maybe with none of this tapped on. Actually, yeah, I just like this pure blue. Ooh, blue and yellow? No, blue and yellow is too close to my main vault. I actually, maybe, no. Ooh, maybe that. Yeah, that looks very distinct. Okay. Yeah, that's one of my main organizational tools, is making things look very visually distinct from each other. What up? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Paige might have to get a root canal. Very sad. Let's see. So this is the first thing. This is the real thing that I came, is to get these sizes up. That is often a big deal. So let's see. Also, really crank up the note width. The default is so thin for no reason. And up the sidebar text sizing. There we go. And I think that looks hopefully a lot better. Let me just look at it in the preview really quick. Maybe it looks substantially worse. I kind of doubt it. But if I hide my pip, let's see. I have to wait for it to come back. Let's see. I've hidden it. Let's see how long the delay is. Oh man, like 10 seconds. Shit. Oh yeah, you can read that so much easier. Okay, perfect. So these are kind of some of the ideas that I have, and the one that I have that I think it's like the first one I would ever want to work on is this build a better party. Also, Dragons and Dungeons, a dating sim, is hilarious, and I do want to make it someday, and I don't even want to spoil it. Because it's fucking awesome. Dragons and Dungeons will be my magnum opus someday. But I can't waste such a glorious idea this early. It does seem potentially a skosh small. We might crank that up a little bit. Let's see, editor. Show. Also show line numbers. I don't remember. In my main vault, I have like scrolling with like holding or resizing the text with scroll wheel, but I don't actually know how to do that. Okay, there we go. That's a lot better. I can already tell in the back. So the main idea, who could have guessed? I like programming, I like puzzles, I like maps, and I like D&D. No one could have ever foreseen this idea that I'm about to pitch to y'all. Name could definitely use some work, but for now I'm calling it Build a Better Party. The game idea is sort of like TFT or SAP, which is Teamfight Tactics and Super Auto Pets, esque auto battler, mixed with programming logic. The programming side being almost, if you've never played Screeps, I don't blame you. But it would basically be using like Blockly style coding, where you wouldn't have to know a language. It would basically be what a lot of people consider like low code, or even maybe like no code. Like I would dress up the coding, the programming side a lot, to make it not feel as programmy. I don't want to like run people off with like fucking methods and semicolons. It would be, dragging and dropping things within like a stack. And then rather than upgrading your pets with items like SAP, you get new pieces of Blockly code and or targets for said code to make your units more intelligent. That's kind of the baseline idea, is that your units are almost like chess pieces, where they don't actually get like more or less powerful over the course of the game. But over the course of the game, you get, and it would be like SAP or TFT, where it would be like, a match that's split into rounds. And then, there's a definite endpoint, and then you queue again. But over the course of any given match, you're getting new pieces of Blockly code to make any given unit smarter. And I have also thought about potentially introducing like some sort of build where, you get to choose what units you go in with. But I think that's maybe complicating things too much. I just want to achieve this first. So it would be like everyone would have, the same core units, but you would get different pieces of code to change their intelligence as you go. This would be predicated on having randomly generated but mirrored maps for units to interact with things like cover and elevation playing large roles. Again, if you've watched me, who could have guessed? This is, a big thing for me in D&D, and it would be, a big thing here. So, like, maybe the baseline unit doesn't have any concept of cover. Maybe it doesn't. It has no idea. But maybe you get a piece of Blockly code that allows it to recognize cover and try to take cover from other units. That sort of thing. Or maybe you have a ranged unit that has no concept of elevation, but you get a piece of Blockly code that lets it seek out and target elevation for its movement. So all of that sort of stuff. It would be having these randomly generated maps with very distinct terrain features that the units can then interact with using the Blockly code. So that's the core idea. Now, let's read develop.games to see where I might start. Who are you? Oh, wait, this is who is Pirate Software, not me. I thought it was going to be like a fucking BuzzFeed quiz. My name is Jason Thor Hall, but I just go by my middle name, Thor. I started in the games industry in 2004 on World of Warcraft Vanilla. I've worked for Blizzard, Amazon Game Studios, the United States Department of Energy, and now Pirate Software. I've got 3 black badges from DEF CON, 2 for cryptography, and 1 for telefreaking. I'm a programmer, hacker, game developer, and all-around giant nerd. I left all that behind and started my studio, Pirate Software, in 2017, and I haven't looked back since. As the studio head, I wear a lot of hats. I'm the programmer, writer, designer, game director, social media manager, and tons of other jobs. I feel extremely confident in running my studio and in how far we've come and how everything has turned out. Any decision that I ever make is based on analytics and research. Right now, we are working on an RPG called Heartbound. It's an adventure that focuses heavily on player choice, and I stream all of the development live every day on Twitch. Heartbound made it through the Steam Greenlight in 11 days as the top voted submission across the entire platform. We then ran a successful Kickstarter campaign that hit 385% of its funding goal. At the time of this writing, Heartbound is in early access on Steam and voted 97% positive out of 1,213 reviews. It's been translated into 6 languages and is really well liked all over the world. Listed below are all of the bits of advice that I have for anyone wanting to get into making games. Understand that this line of work is not for everyone. It's not easy, it can be boring at times, it can be soul-crushing at times, just like any other job. That being said, it can also be the most fulfilling thing you've ever done in your life. There is nothing that compares to someone playing your creation and enjoying it, which I relate to. It's one of the things that I love about DMing. So that is Thor. If you haven't heard of Thor, if you haven't heard of Pirate Software, he does great streams and he has a lot of experience. So we're going to be taking his advice to heart. So, what skills do I need? What if I told you didn't need any? Probably not. That sounds like an AI pitch, which I know it's not. But I'm sure he's going to say that you can learn all of it. Or that you just need like a good idea and some stick-to-itiveness. Well, guess what? You don't. We live in a time where you can learn anything you need to make a game with relative ease. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. I totally agree. I've talked about how I'm not very good at like drawing, which is going to be the first thing he's going to comment on. But I also agree. I think that games can look good, quote unquote, and like be very stylistic without being traditionally like good looking art. If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? And then if you want to improve it later, you always can. So I definitely feel what he's saying, you know? He also draws boxes in MS Paint, the most important part. True, G. Hercove. He does also draw in MS Paint. And we are similar in that way. We both like drawing on stream. Okay. You don't need to be an amazing artist. Thomas Was Alone is made of rectangles. All of it. Even the particles. It will also make you cry. Thomas Was Alone is a masterclass in minimalist art and fantastic voiceover. You can make simple shapes. You can learn to make particles out of simple shapes. You can create a shell of a game that accomplishes the same basic goals as Thomas Was Alone. You can make a game. I agree. I I think that the real core of this is that even if you are not an amazing artist, if you have an idea and you have a style and you put effort into it, you know, that's going to show. It's just, again, for me, it always comes back to like, it's the same in D&D. You don't have to be an amazing writer. You don't have to make the best NPCs. But if you put a lot of effort into it, that's going to show. Yeah. Suits, a business RPG, was made with incredibly simplistic pixel art and drawn pencil images that are scanned into the computer. That's crazy. It's entirely unique and incredible. This shows that you can really break out of standard game visuals and still succeed. You can draw doodles on paper. You can make a game. I was about to say, this is better art than I could do. But I do see what he's saying about, like, you don't need to make classically good art. Classically, like, appealing art, quote unquote. West of Loathing is the glorious successor to Kingdom of Loathing. It's also entirely stick figures and insane humor. This art I maybe could do. I could see myself doing West of Loathing. The cartoony, simplistic figures really help lean in to the rest of the story and jokes in a way that makes it all even funnier. You can make a stick man. You can make a game. Nepenthe? I don't know. Takes a similar route as Suits, a business RPG. It was made entirely in colored pencils, scanned into a computer, and used as tiles and assets. The effect ends up making a really unique and surreal adventure. You can draw doodles on paper. You can make a game. I haven't seen Nepenthe. I'm actually really curious. Huh. Oh, yeah, like that the little mini games are giving very, Undertale. Oh, what the fuck was that? Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. You don't need to be an amazing musician. Don't worry, I've got that covered. I can emulate any instrument with my voice. Hidden Folks is effectively an evolution on Where's Waldo, and while it's simple in concept, it's super well executed. The wild thing that sets it apart is the audio. Everything, and I do mean everything, is mouth sounds. Ah, fuck yeah. My type of person. All the music, the effects, all of it was made with someone's face. It's incredible. You have a face, you can make a game. This might end up being what I do for my music. Because I like to sing. I like to make funny little sounds. I might end up doing that. You don't need to be an amazing programmer. Great. Because I'm not. Yes, that's right. Undertale is a damn incredible game. It has a unique Oh, I've heard about this. I haven't actually read over this entire thing, but I've heard about this Undertale. Fun fact. It has a unique combat style, great story, the puzzles are okay, and the dad jokes are plentiful. Toby Fox was a much more novice programmer at the time, and the code base has some incredibly odd choices throughout it. Does it matter? Is the game less fun? Pro tip, it doesn't matter. You can learn programming as you go. You can make a game. Okay, so he doesn't even say one of the most odd choices. All of the dialogue in all of Undertale is in one giant switch case. Which, if you are a novice programmer, that may not seem that weird, or if you don't know anything about programming, you won't know why that's weird. But if you have been a professional programmer at like in any employed aspect, that's insane. That's like almost so ludicrous that it almost makes sense, but it still doesn't. But obviously, Undertale, incredible game. Like Thor said, immensely incredible game. Your game doesn't need to be optimized or well programmed to be good. Which is so funny. It's so funny. That's wild. I know. And it's even like Undertale has branching dialogue trees, which is it's just ludicrous. It's so funny. It literally like the result of every switch case just sets like a global variable that is what is the next piece of dialogue that you will run into. And each one just has a little tag on it. It's insane. It's sounds like Sundari simulator code. I haven't heard of that one, but very possible. Very, very possible. Oh my god. Can we just pull every word individually from a dictionary document next? Honestly. Yeah, it's honestly like you put every word of the script into a giant data structure and then tagged every piece of dialogue with a unique code that references each individual letter. And like builds the strings bespoke. Honestly, that might be more efficient. I don't know. Just so ludicrous. So ludicrous. But it's the overall thing that I think all of these have of if you have an idea, if you have a vision, you can accomplish it. What kind of game should I make? I know what kind of game I want to make. Everyone wants to make the biggest, most impressive game they've ever seen at first. I do not. I am not capable of making BG3. That's for sure. They want to show it off for clout and admiration from others. They want to make something worthy of praise. Many of us want to make our dream game right off the bat and just amaze everyone with how awesome we are. Don't make that game as your first game. That's why I'm leaving Dragons and Dungeons, a dating sim, in the vault. That's gonna be the most amazing game, and I, can't make it as the first one. But this is similar. I have a video idea, like a video topic that is, I think, the best idea I've ever had for a YouTube video. And I had it before I started my channel. Long ago. And I'm not even close to wanting to actually make it. Because I want to do it absolute justice, and I don't have like the filmmaking skills to accomplish it. Like, I want it to look like a folding ideas video. I cannot make a folding ideas video. That's just not going to happen. But simultaneously, I think that you can't let this get in the way of making something. Like, your taste is always going to outpace your skill. If you get into creating, you get into it because you like at least the general genre of thing that you create. And if you like it so much that you want to create yourself, you are often going to have good taste and likely much better taste than your skill can replicate. So there's kind of a double-edged sword here where you got to fall somewhere in the middle where you have to create things and you have to do that in order to hone your skills. But you also don't want to set your ambitions so high that you can never finish. If you make your dream game, it's the same as fighting the final boss at level 1. You need to build up a little bit of know-how by grinding lower level mobs first. Oh yeah, you can tell the World of Warcraft vanilla developer here. You need to learn what kind of developer you are. You need to learn what kind of games you like making, not just the ones you like playing. Also, incredibly similar for streaming. The things that I stream are not the things that I do in real life, which is the weirdest advice. I understand why YouTubers give it, of like, make something that you would want to watch. I don't watch anything like my content. Basically ever. But I am super interested in the topics that I make content about. Like, I'm very interested in D&D, even if I don't watch D&D content. So I think that this type of advice of you need to learn what kind of games you like making, exact same thing for like streaming and videos. You have to like experiment and learn what kind of games and things you like making content about. Like, I loved Chants of Senhar. Probably wouldn't have played it in my free time, but it was incredible. And Outer Worlds, absolutely something I would play in my free time. Hated streaming it. Terrible game to stream for me personally. but I absolutely love it in my free time. So yeah, sometimes they're the same. Sometimes I make videos that I would want to watch, but not always. You need to find your style and form your niche in the world of game development. We all have a voice, and making something small helps you find yours. This doesn't mean you need to go sadly run yourself through tutorials or miles of projects that will never see the light of day. It means you should develop something small with the intention of releasing it and getting feedback so you can level up. Play Dungeons and Dragons. What? Oh my god, crossover. Crossover. I did know that Thor plays D&D. Thor's very into D&D, which, like, who could have guessed? A programmer being into the Math Rock game? It's a shock. I lost my place. Play Dungeons and Dragons and DM a few games with a custom world you build. Yeah, absolutely. But even this, it's like, run a module. Just like get used to DMing modules, which I know is a little bit almost hypocritical for me to say because I've never run a module. But it's the same. All of this is the same with DMing. I think all of this is just creativity advice, just maker advice of start with something small that's easier for you to do and then try to level yourself up. Because you will get so much experience that way. And you start connecting with people. Like I talk, even though I haven't made a collab video in so long, I still talk to the people I've made videos with frequently. Like not necessarily weekly, but at least bi-weekly. And like we like talk a lot about like different aspects and different strategies. And if I would not have grinded for like a year streaming to 0 people and just like messed up so much, I would never have learned the things that now allow me to have those like super in-depth conversations with other creators. Like, I mean, even like the errors that we just had at the beginning of the stream, if those had happened to me a year and a half ago when I was like streaming to 0 people, I might have just ended the stream. I might have been so embarrassed. and I would have been so like disrupted and so like self-conscious about having made like that level of mistake. And now it just slides off my back. It's just like, fuck. I guess that's what happened, and I can really quickly fix it. Whereas that's also the thing is, when I first started, I probably wouldn't have known how to fix whatever was happening that quickly, because I wouldn't have known what to identify that quickly. Like when you guys said, "Oh, it's muted," I would have checked to see if I was actually muted, when the actual issue is that I was on the wrong scene. I was on this Elgato Cam scene down here, which doesn't have my mic on it. So the entire solution was just that I needed to go to the screen that has my mic. And then, whoa, who could have guessed? You guys can hear me now. And I would have never known to do that if I wouldn't have fucked that up in the past. I've fucked that up so many times. That now when you guys say it, I immediately know, oh, I'm not actually muted. Or at least I have like a list of things I go through and check. So it's just like make small things, fuck up, and be able to deal with those mistakes later. Flashbacks to card game programming assignments. Yes, start small. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, one of my main worries is that this game might even be too big. But I'll also give you guys, well, not even a peek behind the camera, but to explain why I'm maybe honestly going a little bit too big for my first one, is because, first of all, I do have some amount of experience in related topics, and there's a very specific skill that I have, which is like database management, that I think this idea will really highlight, and that I have basically no way of currently highlighting on like my resume or CV or portfolio. Like I have no actual projects that I've made that really utilize database management in a way that I can easily show and like easily prove. And I think that would be pretty fundamental to this idea, at least in like kind of some assumed ways that I would go with it. And it would help me actually put out my skills in honestly a more risky environment. Like, one of the other things that I'm really interested in for a video game is that I will need to learn security to a degree. I've never really worked, like, I've worked in a broadly high security sense, but those were like the environments that you're working in, the environments that you're deploying to, all have security baked into them. But I've never really developed like public facing stuff that, you know, could be hit with like exploits and like you know, aggressive pen testing. So that is something that I think this game will uniquely allow me to experience. And I'm not going to be like fucking harvesting user data. So if there's anything that it would be like cheating. Like, you know, they fucking hit it with an exploit and they get fucking unlimited blocks or something, you know. But I really want to put out something that can be torn apart, because I've never done that before. So I'm psyched for that as well. I also just realized I need to put on focus mode so that I don't get any sort of notifications. Anyways, so honestly, this is a bit of a bigger idea than maybe I should start with, but it's what I am starting with. Those first 10 minutes, Lamau, don't remind me. Let's see. Make an arcade game, launch it, and get feedback from people. Join a bunch of game jams and feel out how you like working with others or what works best for a team. Grow yourself so that you can make great games. One of the best ways to start this process is by building a game design document. Ooh, documentation. Oh, hello. By Azen for the 2022 Pirate Software Game Jam. I'm assuming this person gave, you know, permission. Oh, very interesting. Yeah. Oh, I'm absolutely going to be building one of these. Maybe based on this. Yeah, okay. Let's see. This is a living document to help you organize your entire project and stay in scope. Important. It also lets you investigate different engines or languages that may work with the kind of game you're making before you commit. Overall, a GDD saves you time and money and is always beneficial. Even with all my prior experience, I had no idea what I was doing when I went indie at first. I'd never launched a game outside of a AAA studio. Obviously, I've never launched a game, period, but this is how I currently feel. Of like, I've never programmed outside of a Fortune 500 company, which has like so many guardrails to ensure quality that I now have to like self-enforce. I never launched a demo or built a community. We used our first game, Champions of Breakfast, to do that. We went through Steam Greenlight, made all the icons, learned how to build achievements, Steam trading cards, made a Discord, made a Twitter, reached out to streamers, and everything else that a studio needs to know. Our little game didn't do very well, but it taught us everything we needed to know to make Heartbound succeed. Champions of Breakfast was made in 24 days from concept to release on Steam, and it is by far the most important step we ever took as a studio. That is fast. I don't think mine's going to be as fast. Fuck, maybe it should be. I don't know. What up, Sarah? How you doing? How to build a team. No, thank you. Not because I don't think it's a good thing to do, but because one of the things I want to specifically stretch and test myself. So not at the moment. Tools. Right now is the best time in history to make a game. Tools are easier to access, and tons of cheaper free versions are available for any discipline. Social programs such as Guilded and Discord allow people to work together collaboratively from anywhere. With storage solutions like Google Drive and GitHub, we can share files and work without a huge amount of financial buy-in. Let's see. There is no best engine. Aha. This is one of the things I'm really interested in. Is like the differences between all the engines, because it's not something I have huge knowledge on. If you want to play, I can tell you how to find them. How to find what? How to find Champions of Breakfast? I don't know what you're referring to, Sarah. It's getting late. See you later. See you, Jerk. G Herkub. Have a good one. Let's see. Okay, no best engine. Choose an engine that supports your style of game and your financial situation. Don't choose an engine based on what people say is the best engine. There is no best engine. There are great engines for different kinds of games. Tools are not diminished in value based on their price or lack thereof. There are also hundreds of engines out there. Go explore your options. Scroll up below my previous statement. What? I don't have anything else from you, Sarah. I've got hi if you want to play, and then scroll up. That's all I got. Let's see. Let me see. I don't think I have any extra moderation on. Yeah, no, there's no extra moderation, but sometimes YouTube just does that sort of thing. Yeah, it's all standard. Altered content. Well, wait, let me scroll down. Comments and ratings. Okay, I'm gonna say don't hold any comments. We're gonna try that. It always tells me that it will hold the comment, but sometimes that just means delete. So I don't know. Let's see. Obsidian has so many plugins that I forget aren't default. Style settings is one of them. Why, yes, I'll just be randomly commenting on things said 30 minutes ago. Hey, fair enough, Theshel. I feel you. Yeah, I know. Style settings is one of my first go-tos on Obsidian. One is 5 minutes and one is 15 minutes. It's probably because I mentioned a site name. Yeah, probably. Because, yeah, now I've only got... I've got, thanks, YouTube. One is 15. One is 15. It's probably because I mentioned a site. 2 games on itch.io. Gotcha. I think... I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did this. Yeah. We have a self-promo channel in the Discord. So feel free to link them in self-promo. But yeah, it is definitely because of the itch.io link, which I don't think I can even allow through even if I wanted to. But let's see. There is no best engines. They're great engines for different kinds of games. Let's see. Doki Doki Literature Club was in a free-to-use Python tool called RenPy, and is specifically designed to make visual novels. That is specifically designed to make visual novels. Risk of Rain was made in GameMaker and MS Paint. Fuck yeah. Yes, you read that right, MS Paint. The cost of your tools does not define the value of what you make. Yeah, Risk of Rain is... that's the original. I don't know. Yeah, okay, this is what it is, the 2D one. I've only played Risk of Rain 2. I'll drop them in your Discord. Hell yeah. I'd be entertained to see your reactions. Fuck yeah. Maybe someday. I have some potential. I don't want to just keep saying I have ideas for content. But this is one of them, you know. I'm getting them out there, but yeah. Maybe someday. Hey, I used RenPy. Hell yeah. My comment with Metaga's critical eyes link for Ron got removed earlier. Yeah, if you use any of the commands the commands are allowed to post. So like if you have like for example like the ! Discord, that will allow like links and stuff. But that's because I'm posting them. Technically, like my account is posting them. But let's see. MS Paint. Understand this isn't an exhaustive list of engines. There are tons of engines out there that are good or great for a variety of game styles. Go out there, find stuff, build stuff, and don't be an elitist about tools. Hell yeah. Godot? How do you say Godot? Godot engine pronunciation. Oh, damn it. Wait, I have music playing in the background, and this tab was muted. Let's pause the music real fast. Also playing Heartbound in the background. I figure it was only right. Let's see.
Godot engine.
Godot. Lego said the truly correct pronunciation is Godot. I find it better to pronounce it Godot. All right, I'm going to say Godot. All right. Godot is a beast. Completely built by its community. Oh, I should start playing the music again. A fully open source and entirely free. It excels in 3D, is great for 2D, and is now being used by major studios. I will say, so in my imaginings of my game, of Build a Better Party, I very much picture 2D. I think 3D would be cool, but would ultimately be mostly a distraction. And would probably be harder to program for me. So I am definitely looking at 2D. You literally can't get a better deal as a small studio than free. Hell yeah, true. Actually free, not free with royalties, real free. Use Godot, seriously. Godot was used to make Dome Keeper and Endoparasitic. I like Dome Keeper. Game Maker. Game Maker is a great engine for making 2D. Hello. But it's not very strong with 3D. You can use the free trial indefinitely for non-commercial use, and it allows exports to desktop targets as well as web and mobile. I like that. The monetization model is very competitive at $100 one time for a lifetime license. For console, it's $80 or $100 per year. All these prices have been regionalized pricing, making it affordable pretty much anywhere. They don't take royalties, which is pretty great if your game takes off well. Game Maker Studios was used to make Heartbound, Hyperlight Drifter, Risk of Rain, Nuclear Throne, Pizza Tower, and Undertale. $100 for the commercial license? Let's see. Free! Level up your game and release your games commercially. I'm very curious. Professional, one-time purchase, or enterprise. What's the difference? Commercial license, export, desktop, export. Ah, there's the console exports, and then the source code access. Okay. Cool. $100 ain't bad. Especially if I may not even release it commercially. Okay. I love great engine for 2D. All right, Unreal. Unreal is a powerhouse in the 3D arena that has a great monetization model. If your game makes under $1 million over its lifetime, you pay them nothing. Anything beyond that has a 5% royalty tagged onto it. They are also entirely free to use for unmonetized projects. Definitely great for startups, but it can have a steep learning curve. Unreal was used to make Fortnite, Conan Exiles, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Octopath Traveler. Probably not, because I don't really need the 3D part. So far, I'm leaning towards Game Maker or potentially Godot. Today I learned about the Undertale Switch case. What the actual hell? That's insane. I know. It's actual lunacy. Ren'Py is a fantastic engine specifically made for visual novels. It's completely free, easy to use, and has a great community around it. Definitely able to make some powerful and interesting games. Ren'Py was used to make Doki Doki Literature Club. I I might check out RenPy at some point in the future, mostly because I'm curious about how an actual engine works for that. Because in my head, visual novels are predicated on pairing together images and text. Sometimes, like, moving images. Well, not even sometimes. Most of the time, moving images. And, like, layering those on top of each other and triggering, like, little movements within the images based on the text choice. And I'm curious as to how an engine helps with that. Like, I can very clearly visualize it. Like, I can understand how it would help with that, but I'd be curious as to the specifics, because I don't want to make a visual novel, but I have thought about some visual novel type experiences for running with chat. So doing, like, you know, like a little mini version of, like, Chat Plays D&D almost, of, like, running polls to pick an option and then, like, running through a little thing. But I would only want to make, like, little tiny things for chat, and I'm honestly wondering if the engine would provide enough help that it wouldn't just be worth, like, kind of doing it manually, depending on the size, you know? You should test my visual novel game? Maybe! It'll be after this experience, with, like, making the Build a Better Party. But it's definitely something on my radar. Your description is roughly correct. The level of sophistication depends on the knowledge of the creators. Yeah, RenPy would be good for that minigame. Interesting. I'll have to look it up. I also don't have a ton of experience in Python. Like, I know the basics, and obviously, you know, a lot of programming knowledge is pretty transferable between languages. But I don't have any manner of, like, professional experience with Python. So that would also be kind of a barrier for me, but it's definitely something that's going to be on my radar. What you like making, as I like saying, creation is a process of discovery. Yeah, absolutely, Thashel, absolutely. Just like with an engine, you should choose an art program that works best for you. Just because a program costs more or is revered in certain circles doesn't mean it's better for you or your workflow. Everyone works differently, and everyone feels more or less comfortable with different software and hardware. If you want to use MS Paint on a tablet, it's fine. If you want to use Photoshop on a Cintiq, I don't know Cintiq, is that a tablet, I'm assuming? Or something? I don't know. Asprite. Okay. Animated sprite editor. Asprite. I don't know. Is the actual god of pixel art tools. Running at a cheap $20, this powerhouse is super affordable, but also carries an extra bonus. You can get it for free. If you compile Asprite from their GitHub, it's entirely free software. Interesting. I might look into that at some point. I think I'll just, like, start with, like, stick figures and then maybe look into, like, art later down the development line. RenPy gives you the framework of setting up a default game with menu and click progression. You then look at guides to make your own scenes and input character sprites. I learned some Python using RenPy. It's designed for beginners. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that does sound like it might be really useful for me. I'm going to keep that in mind. Anyways. GIMP. Love GIMP. GIMP is what I use for all of my current photo editing. If I ever, like, make a thumbnail or anything visual you've ever seen on the channel was either made by Eden, and if it wasn't made by Eden, it was made in GIMP. GIMP's awesome because it's free. Incredibly fantastic image editing tool, generally looked down on for being the ugly brother of Photoshop. Oh, yeah, fuck that. I mean, fuck Adobe. I'm not opening up an Adobe product as long as I can fucking help it. So yeah, no, GIMP all the way. That said, it has a few superpowers that Photoshop doesn't have. It's not owned by Adobe. Let's go. and it's completely free. We've used GIMP for tons of stuff over the years, from promotional art to touch-ups on logos or making in-game assets. Definitely give it a look if you haven't before. Look, I've used Photoshop. GIMP is not that much worse. Like, I understand why people have that impression, but GIMP is great. It truly is. Like, let me, if no one's ever used it before, I'm just gonna open up like a thumbnail, just to show. Because I truly do not think that it's worse. Let's see. I'll do a thumbnail that I made. Let's see. I have not made a thumbnail in a little bit. That's DM Live. I made that thumbnail. We'll just do this. Always. There we go. I will say this about GIMP, it takes a sec to load up, which I don't love. But I have no idea how fast Photoshop even is. But this GIMP, it just has like all the tools in the top right. It's super easy to use. I'll be real, I don't know what a lot of the settings do. But that doesn't matter. I just use them to accomplish the things that I need. Like, it has like an angle on the brush. I don't know what that shit means, but I can use the brush to to do the things I need to do. It has a lasso selector. It has a move tool. It has a fucking select by color tool. It has everything I fucking need. Why would I need to use Photoshop? Ridiculous. I have lots of ideas for games, but it's hard to get back into the mental space sometimes. It's so rewarding, even though even if you make something really small. I'd like to learn Unity someday. Yeah, I think I'm very excited to get into it. I've been really wanting something that I could like really consistently work on outside of stream that is for the channel, but is not like a big what do you call it? Not like a video, and not like a back end thing to make streaming better. Like, I want a project that is not just going to be like a one and done video. And for a long time, that was the Unseen Campaign and the Unseen Servant bot. And those are still going to be made. The problem with them is that there is a really, how do I say it? They are there to facilitate other work, if that makes sense. Like that programming project does not stand on its own. Like the Unseen Servant bot would just help me facilitate basically running games for my community. And so it number one requires way more creative effort, and the end point of it is unlocking a new type of work, which is good. I really want to do that someday, but it's not quite the same thing as like a video game, you know? So that's kind of the thing. And I really realized that I need, number one, a critical mass of players for the Unseen campaign, that I actually think we might be at now, maybe, but I don't think we were at in the beginning of the year. And I need to be in an incredibly stable place within my workflow. Like really, really stable. Because right now, when I stream, I'm asking you guys to submit your time to me during stream. And, you know, there are optional memberships there as well that, you know, are a transaction of money for time, for my time. Whereas with the Unseen campaign, I was asking you guys to spend time outside of stream for a promised reward. So I need to be sure that I can deliver on that reward. I need to be hyper confident about that before I ask again. because I hated the experience of asking for that time and then not delivering on it. So I want to have a giant backlog, be super comfortable with my workflow. I'm not gonna use you guys as fucking guinea pigs. It's just not what I'm gonna do. If I'm going to do that sort of thing, it's going to be on a stream so that it's like you're at least like guaranteed getting to chat with other people and getting to talk to me. I'm not gonna do it off stream. Game jams are the thing that helped me be focused. I feel I can see that. I do want to do some in-person game jams at some point. But I want to do a project like this first. Yeah, that makes sense. A short game stands on its own. Exactly. I want a game that stands on its own that can also be enjoyed more than once, which I know like YouTube videos can be enjoyed more than once, but in like kind of a different way. You know what I'm saying? Game jams really helped me as well with scope. Learned more in a week than I had in months. That's good to know. Maybe I think one of the things I might do is try to make like this first game on my own and then like maybe start doing the Pirate Software game jams like on stream. I think that'd be fun. So that might be in the future. Blender. I've used Blender. Is a really powerful and entirely free 3D modeling and animation tool. It can do some absolutely insane stuff, and as it continues to evolve, it has met or exceeded the power of the best 3D modeling tools out there. If you want to build awesome 3D stuff, then this is your go-to workhorse. Yeah, I took a 3D printing class in college as like an elective. It's like a technical elective, and they taught us like basics of Blender. I don't think we got too advanced, but I made some cool stuff that we then got to like print in the lab. I honestly don't think I have any of the things that I printed still. I had to leave a lot of them with the class as like examples for like future classes. But I got to keep one thing, but I think it like broke in transit at some point. But I made some cool stuff. Blender's awesome. Like I said, I don't think I want to do 3D for this game, but Blender's very, very cool. And it's really, once you get past the hump, it's kind of like GIMP, where once you get past that initial hump, Blender's actually very easy to do basic stuff in. Like, to just make a 3D thing is not actually that hard in Blender. And one of the things that they taught us in that class, which was, I think, a big level up, was how to scan real-life objects with just like a phone app. Like you just like take a bunch of pictures and video of a 3-dimensional like real world object, and then you can use an app to make that into like a Blender accessible file, and then you load that into Blender and can start modifying it from there. Huge level up, because now you don't have to make the 3D thing from scratch. You can just take a real life thing that kind of looks like it and modify that. So much easier. Yeah. It occurred to me that I'm currently playing a web card game I made myself while listening to stream because brain go burr. Yeah, and I really, the reason that I am doing this idea, other than the reason I said earlier, is because I would want to play this game. I want this game to exist, so I'm just going to build it. But it's not that complicated. Like, I want it to be on the level of, like, Super Auto Pets, which, if you've played, is not, like, a huge monumental undertaking. Yeah. I was my own teacher. I was my own team leader, on 2 game jams. I posted the jam to Discord and recruited volunteers. Then I was basically project manager as well as writer and coder. Scope creep is real. Oh, yeah. That's cool. No, project manager is a required skill set for anything even remotely big. Even anything beyond very small. Project managing duties are basically required. And easy to start, but Blender goes so deep. Oh, absolutely. That's why I said I think they taught us the basics of Blender. I don't even consider like the 3D scanning to be even like medium and certainly not advanced. Blender goes crazy deep. Yeah. I would like to know how to make an Azul board game clone online or mobile so I can play remote with my mom. Don't know what engine to use, though. I feel you. I really want to learn how to make Tack, the board game. Which actually, maybe I should put that on ideas. Honestly, if this seems too big once we start, maybe we'll switch. But I should. Tack online. There is a Tack online client, but IMO, it's not very good. And it's also really hard to use on mobile. I'd really like to have like the same way that I have like chess.com on my phone. I'd love to be able to play Tack on my phone. But can't right now. Yeah. Fucking like the title says. Would be cool to have a mobile client as well. But yeah, I agree. But this would require networking shit, which I guess the other one is also going to require. Oy. I do not look forward to that. But required, I guess. A team of 2 is a pair of friends. On a team of 3, 1 is a project manager, and the 2 are annoyed. Yeah. It happens, but you gotta do it. There's no best audio program. I spoke to our musician. Oh boy, not gonna try for that one. For this information, as it's not really my area of expertise. And I should also make this a little bit bigger. You should definitely hit them up if you have questions about these programs or want more insight into why they are so powerful. That being said, there are some rad programs you can use to make music or sound effects with relative ease. Fama Studio is an awesome free tool for making NES-style chiptunes. Oh, nice. And sound effects. There's a pretty massive fan community built around it and a ton of easy-to-follow YouTube tutorials to get you started making stuff. I really love the sounds that come out of this thing. And it really hits that nostalgia factor. You can even review the source or compile it yourself. Honestly awesome. Fuck yeah. Anvil. Oh, I downloaded this. So I did. I took a very brief look at some of these things and downloaded a couple of them. And I did download Anvil. But I didn't really look into them in any amount of depth. So that's what I'm doing now. It's a completely free MIDI audio design platform. If you're just starting out or really want a nice old school feel to your audio, I really recommend checking this out. You can even print sheet music from your creations with one of their add-ons. Ooh, yeah, that's why I downloaded it. I remember that. FL Studios is by far the gold standard for audio tools. Oh, it probably costs money. All of our music and sound effects were made in it. It's incredibly easy to use, insanely versatile, letting you make a wide range of awesome stuff, and it's pretty affordable with a $100 price tag for lifetime updates. That's not bad. $100 one-time purchase, that's not bad. If you're serious about making audio magic and want something powerful and long-lasting, then FL Studio is the right choice. That would definitely be if I really wanted to try to get my game bought. You know what I'm saying? I would probably go for this. But for the first project, I don't think so. How do I raise money? Not gonna look at it. Streaming. Hello. Twitch. Uh-oh, no YouTube. Uh-oh. Guys, we're on the wrong platform. Twitch has been the cornerstone of our studio's income throughout everything we've done. It serves as a great way to interact with the community, a source of revenue, and a real-time interactive advertisement for the work we do. We literally would not exist without Twitch. Yeah, this makes sense. I have a video I want to make about there's been a lot of talk about the death of YouTube streaming. And as someone currently streaming on YouTube that prioritizes it over Twitch, I have thoughts that I think are not getting captured in the discussion. But I will say, when I was multi-streaming, I had probably anywhere from a 10th to a 50th of the viewership on Twitch that I had on YouTube, while simultaneously making close to equal amounts of money on both. So, and I know that some of that is from viewers on YouTube coming over to sub on Twitch. But regardless, Twitch is a money-making machine, especially if you have any amount of like audience. But I think it's incredibly difficult to actually build an audience on. $100 OTP, especially these days, is very affordable. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, Thatchel. I see if it's one-time purchase. If it was $100 a year, get the fuck out of here. But $100 OTP is very, very nice. Publishers, not looking for it. Kickstarter, also not looking for it. Merchandise, not looking for it. Subscription service. I've looked into Ko-Fi. I actually have a Ko-Fi. Coffee or whatever. But because people asked like, hey, can I donate money? And I was like, yeah. And I set up a coffee and then no one used it. So it's theoretically still exists out there, but is I don't link it anymore because no one used it. Scams. I'm interested. Scams are a super prevalent pitfall in the world of indie dev. Do not sign anything you haven't read. Absolutely. If you're unsure of what something means in a contract, then talk to a lawyer. And if you live in a big city, sometimes there are free services that you can use for this that are either provided by the city, depending on the size, or sometimes the Chamber of Commerce. And even if you live in a small town, if you, I can only really say this for America, but like, there were towns outside of Kansas City where if you like lived out in, I don't know, fucking, for any of my Kansas heads, if you lived out in like DeSoto or Lawrence, well, Lawrence is a bad example, but like El Dorado, all those sorts of places, you can normally drive into like Kansas City or Wichita. And as long as you're like a state resident, you can still work with the Chamber of Commerce. And sometimes they will have services that will read over contracts and let you know if there's like anything crazy terrible in them. But you also have to like bring a business plan. It's very complicated, but they do exist. What's up? Oh yeah. If you do accidentally give out keys for your game, you can burn them through the Steam partner tools, so don't worry. Outside of that, here are a few examples of some scams we've encountered and avoided. Yeah. Well, this is also the thing, is like I don't plan on like really marketing this all that hard because I don't super care about it getting played. It's mostly for myself and my own development. But if we get to the point where, I really like it and I do actually want to get it played, maybe I'll come back to this sort of stuff. Let's see. Scams, I'm interested. All right. And I think that'll be very similar for all of these. I am curious kind of about this. So Steam, Humble, what is Game Jolt? The god of demo sites? I have not heard of Game Jolt. Make a demo for your game and put it on Game Jolt. When we first got a demo for Heartbound up on Steam, we saw minimal traffic. Once we put it up on Game Jolt, we had thousands of people play it? Really? I've never heard of this. What does the website even look like? Oh, this is Heartbound. Game Jolt. Interesting. Huh. Okay. It was huge for us and really helped get the word out about our games. They also give you a little bit of side cash from the ads that run on your game's page. They don't need to do that, and it's a really nice thing to cash out on every once in a while. Interesting. Huh. Very, very weird. Itch. Yeah, okay, Itch is the next one. I was about to say, I've only ever heard of Itch.io for that sort of thing. Unfortunately, it lays the discoverability department. You will definitely be leading most people to find your page here, but once they do, oh my science, it will be gorgeous. I mean, just look at ours in the link here. You can also sell Steam keys. Yeah, I mean, I've absolutely heard of Itch.io. I've never heard of Game Jolt. Weird. I mean, but I don't see any fucking reason to not do all of them. I think that what is the Steam entry fee? It's something like $50. Steam takes 30%. Is there any? I know that I'm pretty sure there's a fee to list. Platform-wide sales that you can join in on. Adding your game to a sale. These VRs. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I would probably have to read this in more detail, but I'll see. I'll figure it out eventually. Okay. Good guide, good guide. I think the first thing I'm going to do is make that game design document. But I think I'm probably looking at Game Maker. I mean, Godot also sounded all right. Maybe I'll look up like Game Maker versus Godot and see. But otherwise, I think the game design document, the GDD, I guess, is going to be where I start. Where was that? Yeah, game design document, the GDD. Oh, wait, I already have it open. Most of my online time is spent in writer communities, and an author friend of mine has a whole article posted on Medium about bad things that are standard practice in publishing contracts. I'm fucking sure. Yeah, like for no good reason. Some of it is even illegal / unenforceable. Yeah, well, some of it is included just to scare you. So even if it's unenforceable, you as the signee won't realize it's unenforceable, and so then you don't do the thing that it doesn't want you to do. It sucks. But I've seen that a lot in like freelancing companies, talent agencies, all that sort of shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's so weird about Game Jolt. It was easy, and actually a lot of jams organized through it, so your game jam can be listed with others. Oh, that's sick. Your jam game. Sorry, yeah. I feel like Itch.io is like, I feel like that's like a staple name if you're into like indie at all. But I've never heard of Game Jolt. Wild to learn it costs more to post a game to Steam than it costs to start a company in the UK. I heard it costs like $100 to $150 to really get a game on Steam. Yeah, I'd have to look at it in more detail, but that's a later me problem. Yeah, like most NDAs in the States are straight up illegal. Most of them, yeah. Most NDAs are illegal. Dude, if the FTC can get it fucking through, because they did it and then it got blocked, which sucks. But if they can get it through the legal systems, the FTC was really, I mean, not even trying. They did effectively ban non-competes, which I think is awesome. And then it got blocked by, I think, like a federal judge. But they're currently working on appealing that decision. But if they could fully ban non-competes, that would be incredible, because those are things that are legal and legally fucking suck. if you ask me. Okay, let's make. Actually, I don't even need to really make a copy. I can just fucking Control A this shit. All right. Okay. So these are all ideas. Let's make a folder for the actual thing. Folder for projects, we'll call it. Projects. All about it's great. Yeah. That's a good move to get rid of non-compete clauses. Yeah, absolutely. I think I personally, I mean, you guys know I don't talk about politics a lot on the channel, but it's mostly because while I have confidence in my opinion for like living my life, I don't have, for something as high stakes as politics, I don't have enough confidence to like present things and like potentially sway other people's opinions. So I don't talk about it too much on stream. But I really like the current FTC Leadership, I think that they've been doing a pretty bang up job personally. Or at least they've been fucking trying, unlike some past leadership. I think I really, really hope that Lena Khan is able to stay in. I don't think that'll happen if Trump gets elected, and it seems even questionable if Harris gets elected because a lot of her donors don't like Lena Khan because she's actually fighting for Americans, in my opinion. But I like Lena Khan a lot. I think it's Lena. Oh no, it's not Lisa, is it? God, am I saying her name wrong? Lena Khan. No, it is Lena. Okay, cool. I had like a moment of like, oh no, am I getting her name wrong? But yeah, I like her a lot. I get that 100%. I'm a very political person, but like, it can be hectic. Yeah, and it's like, if I'm not, I not only, to like really talk about it on stream, I would have to be not only confident, but able to easily explain things and easily and quickly source things and like explain things in a very concise way, which I don't think I just don't have a talent for. I do not have a talent for explaining things concisely, and I think that really fights against you if you're talking political, even remotely. So I just don't think I'm like the best person to pitch a lot of stuff. So I generally try to avoid it, but not because I'm like against it being in content or whatever. I know that Mike gets like Super Geek Mike gets all sorts of comments of like, take the politics out of your channel. I come for the D&D, not the politics. And it's like, bro, D&D is an inherently political game. It's a creation of your own mind where you have to make governments and factions and organizations. That's like an inherently political pursuit. Your politics are going to show through. That always bugs me. But I don't experience that because I avoid it. I was wondering if you were gonna name drop her. Yeah, fuck yeah, Lena. I'll name drop her all day. She rocks. What I'll say about the U.S. election is that the Cheeto would be the worst D&D player, and you should keep that in mind in November. Oh, Lamau. I mean, look. Do not let an influencer sway you. Never let someone online sway your fucking voting habits. But all I will say is that I voted for Biden in 2020. My opinion of Trump has not really changed. It's pretty much the same that it was in 2020. And I like Harris and Walz, or not even like, I shouldn't say. I support Harris and Walz more than I did Biden-Harris in 2020. Like, I generally support the track record and the policies. Not all of them by any stretch. There are definitely some. I'm not a big fanboy for any party, but it's a very clear decision to me. Because one side went up in my estimations and one side went the same, if not down. So there's just no reason to change. That's basically where I'm at. D&D is a resource management system, and that's also what governments do. That's fair. This stream is funny because I found myself programming a game to simulate a fictional game and a story that my brain is forcing me to write. Yeah, hell yeah. That is very funny. Don't let influencers sway you, but let me sway you. Don't make money online, and I don't make money online, and I'm very trustworthy. Nah, don't let me sway you. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. And if that is like, if the stance that I just put out there's a big issue for you, I'm gonna be real. You would not like the rest of my opinions. If you're like, you should really vote for Trump, we're probably not on the same wave. But yeah. I'm doing physics or anything, just damage calculations. This story is hell, but also writing it is fun. The story is hell, but writing it is fun. If writing it is fun, that's the most important part. If you enjoy the manual, like, work of anything, that's the most important part. That's why, like, MMOs work, is because they found a way to make collecting ingredients for crafting an enjoyable experience somehow. And that's the same thing with being productive at like any other task. It's just like find a task or like find like a project or a hobby where the most boring part is still fun. And like the part that you have to do all the time is still fun. Yeah. It's an improvement over buying to, yeah. So it's, dude, I was real, nervous before Biden dropped out. But I'm still nervous, but I'm less so. But anyways, let's see. Build a better party. And we're going to start a new note inside of there. And it's going to be the game design document for build a better party GDD. Okay. So did I already copy that stuff? I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Okay. Copy. All right. Oh boy. Paste as plain text. Ooh, pasting as plain text might have been a worse idea. Let's not. Okay, yeah, this is way better. Okay, yeah, perfect. Also, oh god, I forgot. So, I mean, maybe some people are into this. I am super not. I hate the live preview option. I always switch to source mode. Basically, live preview, if you are not directly selecting an element, and it would look different in reading view than it does in editing view, live preview will present it as its reading view look until you click on it. I do not like it. I much prefer source mode. So let's GDD. Build a better party. Let's see. By Aizen. All right, get rid of that. I'm obviously not going to like take any of their actual work. I am just using it to do the baseline. Okay. So introduction's actually going to be the top level header. And then also I'm definitely changing the header styling because I do not like the current one. Let's see. Headers. Oh, wait, that's not where you see any of that. Okay. Switch to colors. Note elements. There we go. Headers and headings. Headings. Light, dark. Oh, wait. Is this not where you do it every other? See if we can throw on any alternate color schemes that make it look better. Let's see. I mean, I'm just going to switch them to yellow for... Oh, wait, no, that's white. What the heck? There we go. We'll switch it to like a dark yellow for now and see... Oh, that still doesn't work. What? What the heck? Did I still not? Palantino Black, Suez Serif. Those are all fonts. Oh, I know it's in here somewhere that you do this. Let's see. So I like live preview because it makes any CSS I've added work, but that's fair. Yeah, I don't work in any CSS. So I don't end up I don't end up liking it. Let's see. Oh, that's kind of interesting. That looks too much like my main vault. A lot of times I end up just clicking through. Ooh. It's very dark. I actually kind of like the brighter. Oh well, I might not be able to get it. I really like, so let me bring up my main vault to kind of show you what I'm looking for. But I'll probably look for it off stream. It'll be boring. Let's see. So on my home page, yeah. And let me just get anything doxable off there. All right. Yeah, so in my main vault, I have like a different color and a different size for various headers. So like today is a header, but then the subheaders below today are different colors and different sizes. So that's just like a second level header, first level header. That's the sort of thing I was looking for, but I don't remember exactly how I did that. Let's see. I should really do that someday. Very competitive. Let's see. All right, so game summary pitch. Ooh, I will note inspiration. There we go. Okay, no Snakebird, no Baba is you. Let's see, player experience. Platform, development software. Oh, actually, that's going to be the same. I think I'm leaning towards Game Maker. I'd vaguely looked at some of them, and even through that, it's just like, oh, Game Maker is like the 2D champion is kind of what that sounded like. I don't know about 2.3, but I'm just going to do Game Maker Studios. I don't know if I'll use any of that yet, so we'll just delete all that. But we'll just keep Game Maker there. Genre. Target audience? I'll keep it there, which it's good to know, but I don't care about it as much. And then concept, gameplay overview, theme interpretation. Theme interpretation? That's kind of interesting. I'm excited for that. Primary mechanics. Let's see. Get rid of all that. Secondary mechanics. Get rid of all that. Art. Theme interpretation. I'll have to read over these theme interpretation bits, because that's an interesting thing that I can't say that I've seen in a lot of other stuff. And I need to kind of get a little bit more details. See you later, Sarah. Have a good one. Let's see. He who fights monsters and make 20K a month. Oh, true. I mean, I have always been of the opinion that you just need to work on your skills and create enough of a, like, I don't know, to some extent a portfolio, but just like a breadth of skill that when luck strikes, you are capable of grasping it. You know? Like, that is my, I don't know if that honestly describes the world, but I think that sort of thought process is the best way to live within the world. I think that the thought process itself sets you up for success the best. Even if it's not necessarily true. which that in and of itself kind of proves it to be true, I guess. Or maybe I guess it just proves that I do believe it. Let's see. So and I just realized I didn't even explain. The thing that I just grabbed is surfing. It allows you to open up web browser inside of Obsidian, which like isn't necessary at all, but is very useful, and it just like makes things easier to search up really quick. I think it's under style setting. Like each heading should have its own color. Really? Where is it? Style settings, note, colors, note elements. It's just headers and headings. Let's just reset that. Those are all alternate other elements. Obsidian is Chromium based. Might as well take advantage. Yeah, absolutely. Might just be the theme I have. So is it like in appearance? No. I don't know. I don't know where it is. Maybe... Oh, wait. Heading styles. Advanced heading options? Header colors. Header colors. We found it. We found it. Yeah, let's throw on some colors. Yeah, I just like very distinctly different colors to help me know what level I'm at. Sort of the similar thing that I do with the vaults in general, of wanting the vaults to all like look very distinct from each other. It helps me kind of just know where I'm at. Let's see, and we'll go with like purple. And then last one, we'll go for this kind of tealy sort of situation. What? What the heck? It's probably because of the alternative color scheme I have on, ain't it? Maybe not. Yeah, like I said, I'll have to look into this a little bit more off stream. Because I definitely know that there are ways to do all of that. But I don't know exactly what they are. All right. Let's see if that goes through YouTube. Just kidding, my meeting got canceled, motherfuckers. Hey, it went through YouTube. Look at that. I do the same thing with the saturation of headers in my Omnivault, though it can be hard to differentiate sometimes. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Okay. All right, we've got a skeleton. Which, speaking of, yeah, hell yeah. So we've got our header outline over here on the right, which I think is very good to have. So, game summary pitch. One sentence. Very important. Very important for anything, that you can summarize it down to one sentence. If you can't, it's probably too big. Mass Flux is a tile-based puzzle game about reducing or generally manipulating the shape of a mass of cell blocks to navigate to a goal. Okay. Build a better party is a competitive auto battler focused on improving the intelligence and tactics of your units rather than increasing their stats or capabilities. That's the one sentence summary. That's the one sentence summary. That's it. Maybe not even competitive. Maybe just an auto battler. Is an auto battler focused on improving the intelligence and tactics of your units rather than increasing their stats or capabilities. Okay, cool. Inspiration. Super auto pets. I was about to say Teamfight Tactics, but really for me it's auto chess. I was much more into auto chess than I was TFT. Auto chess, Screeps. Oh God, code spells. No one played code spells, but I played code spells. Let me see if I can pull up code spells without doxing myself. It's a really cool game that I now have hidden because it's dead. Store page. Yeah, it's mostly negative. Let's go. Yep. Oh man, this is cool. It was a cool idea, but this is definitely an inspiration. So like this is your spell. Heat 1 on create. Set this orb. Set the orb's temperature. All of this, and each of these blocks would make it cost more mana or a different type of mana. It was a cool idea. Terrible execution. Not worth it. But definitely, it's an inspiration. I can't lie. I know what you mean by auto battler, but I can't help but think of tabs. Oh, totally accurate battle simulator. I mean, honestly, tabs is not totally out of like an inspirational realm. I wouldn't say that it is, like, I'm not going to put it in this section, but it's not totally divorced from what I'm talking about. I think it puts your mind in like the generally right mindset. It's just instead of like in tabs, it's about the composition of your army and like picking different units. Whereas this is about modifying like their pathfinding AI and like their targeting priority AI to utilize the maps that you drop them into. So like tabs is not a totally off-kilter comparison. Yeah. I thought Build a Better Party was a game about picking the best players and outfits for a D&D party, then watching them fight in a simulation and immediately die. That's why I said the name needs some work. Because, yeah, Build a Better Party, the name is based on an old mobile game called, oh God, what is it? You need to build a bigger boat? Is that the game? Mobile game. You must build a boat. Yeah. You must build a boat. You must build a boat. I don't even remember if this game is good. I think it's like a 3-tile matcher. But like it's like a 3-tile matcher dungeon crawler. It's a weird game, but I have fond memories of it. I don't know if it's good, but I played it in like high school. And that is like the thought process that you Build a Better Party is kind of based on. But it needs a different name. If I actually want to market it, the name does not evoke the right image. Yeah. Like building a roller coaster reminds me of Magicka. Yeah, sort of Magicka-esque. Totally accurate roguelite simulator, a bit. We're in the right zone, which is good. I'm glad that the summary pitch at least puts you guys in the right mental area. I think that's really good. Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is Auto-Chthon. Auto-Chthon. I think that's hard for me to say based on the reading of it. So I don't know about that one, but we'll think about names as we go. Yeah. Building a party makes it sound like you're picking from options. Yeah, I agree. It's like, I'm trying to even think about what it is. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to talk to Paige about it. This is much more up her alley. as a copywriter than mine. Let's see. Player experience. Ooh. You know, maybe I should have... Wait, what am I doing? I can just pull it up in a new tab. I was like, maybe I should have, you know, not deleted all the stuff, but... Boop. There we go. Throw that into the side dock. And let's see. Let's see. Player experience. In a single screen... Oh, I can't zoom in this, which is kind of interesting, but that's fine. I'll read it to you guys if it's not good enough. Actually, let me just pull up a windowed projector so that I can see what you're seeing. Oh, that size is fine. Okay. Let's see, though. Player experience. In a single screen dungeon for each of the 15 levels, the player will solve a short but perhaps complex puzzle requiring planning and management. The player must learn to use their knowledge of the interactions between the player cells and various environmental items to understand how to pass through a level. Okay. So it is talking about what the player will do, not how anything works, necessarily. And it's 2 sentences. So, player experience... through the course of a match, the player will have will gain will collect Blockly style code blocks that they will use to improve the intelligence. Improving the intelligence might be a little bit off there. That they will use to define the behavior of their units during a series of rounds. After each round, the player will gain new blocks and be able to refine and perfect the behavior of their units to outsmart their opponents. Is there anything else that's necessary for there? I don't think so. Chthonic is a Greek word. I know that. Chthonic in Cthulhu. Got it. Autochthon. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. That time I died and became a tactical auto-battler. That's like I designed an auto-battler and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. That's like that level of name. Generally steer away from names that are too challenging to read at a glance. Yeah, there's a bit of that. Okay. Let's see. I think that's pretty... accurate. Like the animated sprite resources name from earlier? Yes, actually, like that. That name was very hard for me to read. Not gonna lie, this game sounds pretty stressful if it's time-based. No! Okay, so that is actually... And maybe this is... I don't think I can really work that into the pitch or the player experience. But if you've never played Super Auto Pets, I can absolutely understand why it sounds stressful. The way that... Hello? Surfing? Hello? Hello? What do we think? Oh, what the hell? Why is it only in one tab? What the fuck? I got so confused that the music came back. That's odd. I wonder if that's because they're in the same tile. Let me try up here. Test. What? That's super weird. Surfing doesn't normally behave like that in my other vault. I'll have to maybe see about that. Is there a way that I can open up a separate surfing tab? Open in the same... Oh, I think I have this checked of open in the same tab. Wait, let's test it now. Ah, there we go. Okay, perfect. So, if you haven't played Super Auto Pets, the construction of Super Auto Pets is basically cut into two separate experiences. It's not like TFT. So in this shop screen, you get to decide if you want to buy new pets, if you want to buy items for your pets, if you want to re-roll, if you want to upgrade your pets, and you use the currency to do so. This is completely untimed. It is not time-based. You can even close out of the game and come back and you will be on the same screen. You can stay here forever. Then, when you actually go to battle, which the battles look like, well, yeah, so there's this end turn button down here. When you go to a battle, it loads you into a screen like this, where your units just automatically do battle without any available input from you. And the way that it matches you against opponents is it matches you against people that are using the same pack as you, which they're like packs of different pets. It doesn't really matter. So basically, as long as they're using like the same version of the game as you, and they're on the same turn as you. So you can see up in this one, there's this little hourglass. It might be too small to see. But basically, there's a little hourglass up here that says 6. That means that they're on turn 6, which means that when they go to battle, they will match against someone else that is also on turn 6. So it makes sure that they have had the same number of opportunities for turns and theoretically, the same amount of resources. There's also some, I think this is unconfirmed. I'm not sure if this is confirmed or not, but there's also a theory that it takes basically the range of people that are on the same turn as you and then tries to match you against people with a similar level of health, which health is a measure of how many times you've lost in Super Auto Pets. So basically it tries to match you against someone on the same turn and with essentially the same win-loss ratio. But neither of the aspects are timed because it only starts considering other players the moment you hit end turn. Before that, it is totally free or totally untimed. So yes, I would, and that is one of my issues with one of the inspirations that I put on here, and honestly with most coding games where you interact with other people, is that they are real time. The thing that I really don't like about Screeps is that it's real time. There are other things as well, but it makes coding in it so stressful. So stressful. So yes, this is a fundamentally turn-based experience. And maybe I should even say that over the course of a match with turn-based rounds. I don't know if it's entirely accurate to say that, but I think it gets the vibe across a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, shoot, I'm a fraud. I messed up the IPA transcription earlier. Oh, you fool. Not getting the IPA right? Pfft, absolutely all credibility lost. It's a League auto battler. Is League of Legends an auto battler? No. League of Legends is not an auto battler. Teamfight Tactics, which is based on League of Legends, that is an auto battler. League is like a MOBA. Oh wow, this example of auto pets isn't too far off from my D&D party idea. Over the course of a turn-based match. Yeah. Maybe that's it. Yeah, over the course of a turn-based match. Yeah, turn-based match. Yeah. So yeah, that would be the ultimate thing, and that's why the definition of an auto battler is that during the actual battle, you do not have any input. All of your input comes before the battle. Now, TFT, which Teamfight Tactics, probably the most famous auto battler, handles it a slightly different way. Well, I mean, it's hard to say that they handle it a different way because they kind of defined the genre. But TFT is real time. So you have a turn timer because it matches you into a lobby and you play against people in that lobby. Whereas Super Auto Pets, you are matched against a new person every single round, and you either play until you die or you play to 10 wins, which is much more what I would be going for. Especially because I don't want this to get to a point where it becomes, you have so many blocks that it becomes terribly bloated. It's also one of the reasons that I wanted to make it like this round-based auto battler, is because then you start off with relatively simple code and only have to make slight modifications every round, ideally. And like I said, you never get into like an endless mode situation where your code just builds and builds and builds and builds and becomes more and more difficult to work with. You either die or you eventually reach like a distinct win state that you then just end and you go again. Because I think that is one of the things that makes coding games really tough. Is one of the things that makes coding really tough is kind of scope creep and just continuing to add to the project in ad infinitum. So I wanna very purposefully limit it. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it, but I used to play a game that was sort of team builder where you did turn-based combat, like wargaming, but with custom units. I'm imagining that, but you pre-programmed the tactics. Yeah, exactly. You pre-program the tactics of each unit, rather than like attaching them with different equipment or like leveling them up. Like in Super Auto Pets and Auto Chess, one of the main features is that you collect like 3 of the same unit and you can combine them to make a single unit of that type that is like leveled up. It's better. Like it normally improves its main ability. And so the crux of the game is understanding the different units and understanding how they can combo together, especially if you level them up. That's like the main conceit of most auto battlers, and I would be throwing that out the window. The unit that you start with is your unit. That's all it does. It does the thing. But you can change its targeting priority. You can change how it moves around the map. The ways in which it'll fire and then try to take cover. All of that sort of stuff. That would be the main thing that you define beforehand. Because I need to do something different. I don't even know if it'll actually be fun. Straight up. It might be boring. But that's the idea at least. All right, platform, development software, genre, auto battler. It's still definitely an auto battler. Auto battler. And we're gonna call it multiplayer, casual, maybe not puzzle, but maybe coding. I guess we'll say coding. Target audience. Strategy. Let's see. Players who love strategy and strategic thinking, but also want a decent amount of variability and randomness that tests their skill at adapting. Yeah. Generally, auto battler audience. I'm not putting too much thought into this because, again, I don't really plan on marketing it in detail, but that's the strategy more than coding. Yes. So that's why I'm saying, like, the coding, yeah, maybe not coding, maybe strategy. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I do want to put in that code-esque element to it, but I also really want to work it, like, dress it up in an aesthetic where it is very accessible for non-coders. Also consider adults, kids, demographics. That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, I think the target audience would be kids and young adult. Or actually, sorry, I mean, it's hard. I'm probably just gonna leave it blank. Cause this is for me more than anything. Yeah. Your player experience, list that to gameplay overview. Yeah. Desired player experience, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna leave that blank. Post that part to gameplay overview. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Okay, gameplay overview, and then just take that out. Gameplay overview. I mean, similar to player experience. Well, it seems like this isn't really that. I'm just gonna get rid of that. The player, all players start with the same standard units with standard intelligence. Find enemy, walk to enemy, damage enemy. However, each player will have the option of several randomly chosen blocks of intelligence. No, maybe not intelligence, of logic to enhance their units' tactics and strategy. Yeah, and strategy. Each round is divided, or each round is not timed. Is not timed. Players have as long as they want to refine their party or their logic. And when they are ready, they will be matched against another player that is on the same round as them. The units then fight on a randomly generated but mirrored map. Yeah. Target audience, me. Yes. Yeah. Target audience to experience the gameplay overview. Oh, goodness. This doc is for me. I'm just gonna keep it how it is. I think I might have even gone a little bit too far on the gameplay overview, but that's fine. I guess the font's a little bit bigger. Maybe it's similar. Let me see if this is truly the entire gameplay overview. All players start with the same standard units with standard intelligence. Find enemy, walk to enemy, damage enemy. I like putting that in. I like putting that in for me because it also, this helps remind me of the 3 basic qualities that these intelligences should have. It is identifying things on the map, navigating to things on the map, and damaging things on the map. Those are like the 3 things that the logic should do. And so I need to like remember that is like the baseline of the intelligence. Yeah. Procedurally generated. Yeah. I should say procedurally generated. Yeah. Several randomly chosen blocks. However, each player will have the option of several randomly chosen blocks of logic to enhance their unit's strategy and tactics and strategy. Each round is not timed. Players have as long as they want to refine their logic, and when they are ready, they will be matched against another player that is on the same round as them. The units then fight on a randomly generated but mirrored map, and the player gains currency based on a win or loss to use on buying or to use for picking new blocks or for buying new blocks each round. This the music came back in. This progresses until this loop progresses until the player either loses too many times or maybe not. No. That's not the actual gameplay overview. This is the gameplay overview. When the gameplay ends is probably not it. Yeah. Theme interpretation. Sacrifice interpretation. The player voluntarily offers something they would otherwise use to their benefit to then gain something else to use in its stead. Sacrifice is strength. Theme interpretation. Okay. Within the context of a puzzle game, rather than sacrifice strictly being an optional upgrade of sorts, the timing, placement, and orientation of a sacrifice within this game instead occurs to allow the solution or progression of the puzzle. Only through careful planning of movement to remove parts of the player's mass can the player make their way to the exit. One must often sacrifice a part of the player's mass to pass through specific areas as they may be too large or encompass the wrong shape. Interesting. Okay. What is the theme? Oh, it's for a game jam. I see. Okay. What would the theme of this game be? Is that too loud? That might be too loud. I know how loud it is in my headphones. Let's see. Seems fine. Okay, maybe we'll delete theme. It's interesting to think about, but maybe delete it. Yeah, you can do theming if you want. Yeah, I could. But I won't. Let's see. Primary mechanics. Walls, a stopping force to prevent a player too large to access a certain area. Otherwise, to simply restrict movement. Spikes. When a player cell walks on top of a spike, that cell will die and further simplify character mass. Holes. The player mass can walk freely over a hole as long as at least one cell is on a floor tile. If the entire mass is over the hole, the entire player mass dies. Okay. Got it. So these are kind of the traversal stuff. Mechanics. Fruit. If a player cell moves over a fruit, it will eat the fruit and generate a new cell on the opposite side of the mass it is a part of. Got it. Okay. I know I'm just like learning about this game, but I'm trying to kind of suss out the big things. Secondary mechanics. Independence. If two player masses happen to separate, they will still move synchronously but interact with the environment independently. If then connected again, two player masses will act as one. Okay. Set spikes. When a player cell walks on a top of a set spike after moving off of it, it will then become a regular spike trap. Okay. All right, let's think about primary mechanics. Primary mechanics. Let's think. So they're not encompassing like moving or something. It's things that are less fundamental than you move around the screen, but still fundamental to the design of the game. So let's think. Primary mechanics. Let's think. I would say that on the actual map, there will be... Oh, man. I wonder if these should be two separate topics. I think they should. I think there will be vision. Units have a defined detection range. Or have a defined range in which they can perceive the map. They only make decisions based on this perception. Cover. Certain elements or certain map elements provide varying degrees of cover depending on the amount of cover. The amount of cover provides varying let's see. Let me actually think. What does cover actually do? Cover can affect the interaction, or not the interaction necessarily. The cover affects, not can affect. Cover affects the interaction of entities. Affects the interaction of entities that are on opposite sides of the cover. This can constitute Or this covers mitigates vision and attack. Yeah, but I want to keep it basic. I want to keep it like, what does it fundamentally do? It affects the interaction on opposite sides of the cover. Because especially when the point of the game is to like affect the baseline logic of your units, I need to remember to keep all of my internal mechanics either as basic or more basic. I don't want to define too strict of rules to an effect, in some effect. Like, I want to be able to also have different types of cover that have varying levels of interactability. This can include impeding vision, impeding damage, and impeding movement. Going back to our kind of three fundamental concepts of maybe I need to note that somewhere. Maybe cover actually isn't a primary mechanic, now that I think about it. Maybe that's a secondary. So it's vision. Vision is finding. They can only make decisions on this perception and use and will use the information. Yeah. That's vision. That's it. Then there is movement. So I do need to consider movement as a primary mechanic, I think. Walk to an enemy. Movement. Units are able to traverse the map based on are able to traverse the map. Let's think. Have a defined range. They can only make decisions. Let's think. Their logic only considers map elements and entities that can be perceived by the unit's vision. Yeah, there we go. Wouldn't the other primary mechanic be logic? Or I guess these are things that logic can affect. Yes. These are things that logic can affect, but I think you're right. I think the real primary mechanics are vision, movement, maybe aggression. Because I don't think necessarily damage. I don't honestly think necessarily like attack. Find enemy, walk to enemy, damage enemy. Aggression, I'm going to say. And then logic. I think those are the four fundamental mechanics. I think. Units are able to traverse the map. Logic is the implementation of the game mechanics. I think normally, yes. But in this specific game, there will like I'm imagining. Oh, we got to get a new plugin. We got to get a new plugin because I got to start drawing. Let's see. Community plugins. Woo. Browse. Excalidraw. Give me that Excalidraw. Enable. Doop, doop, doop. And then we'll create a new drawing. So, like, my picture of, like, the screen, like, the equivalent of the SAP screen that we were looking at, Super Auto Pets. My mental picture of this screen right here, let me make that a little bit bigger. My mental picture of this screen is so that you can see there's kind of a separation right here and then a separation right there. So it'd be like dot 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 dot. Oh God. And it's gonna be like stats. We'll just say info. So it's like the amount of gold you have, amount of lives you have, that sort of shit. Then it's party. So this is where all your units are kind of represented, and you can like click on them. And then it's the logic. And the logic will be represented by a literal stack. Like a fucking magic stack. Where that has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it gets to the end, it loops back around. And this runs forever. So like in the actual game, and so like this would be like find oh God, I don't have my pen. Find enemy. So this will be like find enemy, walk at enemy, hit enemy. And this will just run on loop. And the point is that your logic makes you more successful than the enemy logic. So, like, find the enemy, walk at the enemy, hit the enemy. But, like, improved logic that you could get might be, like, find a specific enemy. So it might be, like, find ranged enemy. So, like, say you're trying to build a unit that has that is like trying to flank around and take out the enemy's ranged combatants. You would say find ranged, and that would interact with like the vision cone, right? And if it can't find ranged, you could have like an else statement. So you would have like a little like sub thing of like, if you can't, then just find any enemy. But it'll start out with like find enemy, walk at enemy, hit enemy, and then like if no enemy, walk forward or something like that. Just like walk in a random direction. And that might also be something that you can help define, is like, if no enemy, find cover, walk cover. That sort of thing. And even the concept of like having an if statement would be something that you get a block for and you can like insert things into. So you would be building the logic, the internal logic of how the units even operate. And that's the whole conceit of the game. Yeah. Excalidraw. I imagine this would be bots v bots, but I'm guessing it could be bots v animal monsters. What? Oh my God, she just gave the most sassy growl I've ever heard. She went, "Meow." You. So I do think that it would be really interesting to have both a multiplayer mode and a single player mode. Like, I think it would be really interesting to do a single player mode where like the enemy could be like a goblin or could be a wolf. And so then you're fighting against like basically precons. And you're just like, you know, utilizing your bots against those. But I think at first I would just make it, you know, just purely multiplayer, party against party, focus on that. Yeah. Purchasing blocks and setting them seems like primary mechanics for this design too. That's kind of what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about the logic. Is like I feel like that includes those things. Maybe not. Bob. Oh my God, she's so upset with me. I don't think she needs to go out. But maybe she does. Look at that. You made a class UML box. I mean, kinda, yeah. A little, not exactly, but kinda, yeah. Maybe instead of logic, the term you need is commands. Oh, I like commands. I think commands differentiates it because I have been struggling with like what to call them that actually evokes the right that evokes the right feeling. I think commands is spot on. All players start with the same standard units with a set of commands. Walk, find, walk, damage. Several randomly chosen blocks of commands or command modifications to enhance their unit's tactics and strategy. Each round is not time. They're commands. And when they are ready, they will be matched. Oh my gosh, she's going crazy. I'm going to have to bounce to take her. But I'll do that in a second. Do I even have... Oh, I don't even have a BRB config. Damn it. That's fine. The units then prove gain currency for buying new blocks each round. Yeah, that's much, much better. And then... Oh my gosh. Command blocks. I like that word a lot. Oh my God, she's so vocal. Okay, yeah. We'll finish this when I get back. I just wanted to get it out of my head. I'm gonna go take her. Because she's going, yes, I hear you. I hear you so much. You're so cute. Okay. And there we go. And get rid of me. And there we go. Okay. I will be right back. We'll take a break. And then we will continue. Hello. What's up? What's up? Hello, hello. Okay, we're back. She went to the bathroom, and she is a little bit less mad, but only a little. Let's see. I see the conceit you mean. Interesting. I was picturing something more packaged. Yeah, it is much more focused on like modularly like slotting things in and out. So like let me actually look up just Blockly. Let me see if there's like a good image. Yeah, this is perfect. This is what I imagine the stack looking like. It will not be quite as like code obvious as this. Like this is a little bit more like obviously a code base, but this would be each unit has a distinct stack that will just repeat in a loop the entire match, and you can slot in and out all of these things, and certain blocks have these little diagonals, these little guys where you can slot in other code things that then have their own slots for tags and labels and things like that. So Blockly is used to teach children about programming. And so I'm really focusing this on like people who don't already know how to code and introducing them to like kind of generalized coding concepts by kind of disguising them as game mechanics. This sort of thing. That picture's what I was thinking of. That's like how code teaching games look for kids. Exactly. Yeah, most code teaching games use a derivative of Blockly. Blockly, I think, is the most popular like teaching language for kids. It's a visual programming language. So the logic and the commands they wouldn't necessarily like actually use a derivative of Blockly, but they would be kind of based on the concept of Blockly. And then each one has like their own stack. But I like commands a lot. Okay. Yes. I think this is all. I think these are kind of the four basic ones, and I'll wrap in the buying to this section. Units are able to traverse the map based on targets identified within their vision. If no targets are identified, the unit cannot move. Yeah. The units are able to traverse the map by moving towards targets identified within their vision. If no targets are identified, the unit cannot move. Yeah. What I question is how much programming principles you can actually gamify, because you aren't coding a question and outcome. You're coding a set of reactions to unknown circumstances. Like, will there be loops? Possibly. We'll see. Right now, I am only picturing if-elses, and the entire stack is a loop. So the entire stack of commands will loop, but there are no loops within the stack. At least as my current thought process goes. Yeah. So it would basically be I'm setting basically the entire thing is wrapped within a while true loop, essentially. like the entire thing is wrapped within while true. So I don't think I don't want to start like getting into like nested looping, at least at first. Maybe if like the if else goes well, then maybe. So yes, if else might be a good limit. Yeah. I think this is the big thing. And this might be something that I should maybe write down somewhere just for my own remembrance. I might just let's see. We're just gonna put in like a brainstorming note. Build a better party brainstorming slash things to remember. Each let's think. The entire command stack is basically a while true loop. It cannot go or let's think. No element or let's think. No command. No command or command element can move the execution backward, but can reference things from earlier in the stack. Commands can be skipped by other commands. Commands can be skipped by other commands. Skipping is fine. That's like how you would do an if else. An if else, one of them is going to be skipped. Yeah, commands can be skipped by other commands. The only way to go backward is by reaching the end of the stack and looping all the way back to the beginning. I also think that this is like a good constraint for like game in general. Having the constraint of this stack will always fully execute and it will always start right back at the beginning, I think will keep the strategy a little bit more constrained. Yeah. I think that's good. I feel like similar might be better. Yeah, absolutely. This is more application. Surfing esports. Yeah, Obsidian. Surfing is this like basically web page emulator on the right. Obsidian's a totally local app, but it has this plugin called Surfing that I use. But yeah, the entire thing is Obsidian. Obsidian's so sick. I love it. Very, very much. It is one of the most useful things I've ever discovered. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think we're getting there. Okay. Aggression. Or actually maybe not even aggression. Interaction. And I actually think I'm going to say entities rather than units. Entities. So there are elements and entities. We want to keep it general. We want to keep it basic. Entities. Their logic. All players start with the same standard units. I'm going to call them units in the gameplay overview, even though that's not their actual like mechanical name. Yeah, I think. Do Obsidian pages always look like code line text, or is that some kind of special page? I thought Obsidian was more like word processing. So this is what is called source mode. You can then turn it onto, or it's called what's called editing mode. You can then turn it onto reading mode, and it looks more like your like standard word processor. So it's like editing and then reading. And you can make the two look more or less distinct, just depending on your preference. So like my standard vault, the reading versus the editing looks a lot more distinct. And if I do it on this, you can see I have actual code in my real vault that I don't even have in like that one. And then the reading looks very, very different. I have like a schedule. But yeah. So, and it has a ton of aesthetic options. I will say, if you want to make it look really good, you should download the style settings plugin. Style settings gives you a ton of control over what it looks like. Randomly, I had an idea for a name. I was thinking of these bots, and I was thinking something to do with drone. Hive Wars? Hive Wars could work. Ooh, yeah. Oh, and Hive Wars even kind of, it's like how ants communicate. Are ant colonies called hives? I don't think they are. But I also think that bees communicate in a similar way, where like ants have like pheromones that they eject. And no, I think beehives as well. I just don't know as much about bees as I do about ants. But I think they have a similar communication style where they like release pheromones based on other pheromonal triggers, which is kind of like what I'm kind of going for here. Yeah, you got like the pheromone detector, pheromone diffusion. Yeah, and I think bees communicate in a similar way. And I think that Hive Wars has some good aesthetic potential as well. Oh no, I'm stuck on the updates page. There we go. Yeah, I really like a lot of things about Notion, but the auto format of text does irritate me. I don't know much about Notion, so I can't speak to better or worse, but I love Obsidian. Hive is good because insects and bees. Yeah. Most eusocial insects do that. Yeah. And there's even like some fun character design opportunities there. Like, what's the Paper Mario style game that has that sort of vibe? It's like Bug Tales, I think. What is Bug Tales? Am I thinking right? No, it's not Bug Tales. Oh, what is it? I feel like it's on my wish list. Is it not? Man, my wish list is big. I need to slim this down. Maybe if I just search Paper Mario. Is it Bug Fable? Ah, Bug Fables, yes. Like, I'm picturing stuff like this. Like character designs like this. It's basically a Paper Mario style video game, but with little bugs. I definitely want to buy this at some point. I'd love to stream this. But yeah, you have like little bugs and they got different jobs and you do like battles with your bugs. And they have like different classes and abilities, or maybe not classes, but different abilities. I'm totally picturing that for like Hive Wars. I'm picturing all the party members being little bugs, little guys. Oh, I like that. If you had themes for teams like Bee Team and Ant Team and the Wasp Team, the Ladybug Team, yeah, you could have like different presets. Because I have been thinking about that. It would be interesting to allow players to take in like a preset of units. So maybe everyone doesn't start with literally identical units. Maybe you pick like a class, like a team essentially, kind of StarCraft-esque. You know, you pick like Zerg or Terran. But yeah, for this, you have like bees, ants, wasps, and those like define maybe your unit's like base capabilities. Certain teams are better. Like maybe certain, like the wasp team has better vision overall, but maybe has more erratic movement or something like that. Yeah. Absolutely. That's going in the brainstorming document. Absolutely. And I like Hive Wars. I think I'm going to change the name to Hive Wars immediately. Is it one word or 2 words, do we think? I kind of feel 2 words. I don't know why. I feel like the single word Hive Wars has a little bit of like visual weirdness with the VEW. It like kind of blends together for me and doesn't really look. I guess I could do camel case. I'm gonna do 2 words for now. Yeah. Attack power, ranged, etc. Vision or movement. Yeah, so that's like you can come in with that base and then you mess with their logic during the course of the game. 2 words works. Very demure. Guess what? Most of the insects are all female, so now you have a very girl power game. I don't know what demure means. I'm not on TikTok enough. So I cannot speak to the demureness of the game. But that could work. Let's see. Hive Wars. Yeah. And we're going to change that to Hive Wars as well. Hive Wars. No more name could use some work. Okay. Hive Wars. Renamed from Build a Better Party to Hive Wars. The only thing I worry about Hive Wars is that it's maybe a tad on the generic side, but I like it way better than the other name. From Build a Better to Hive Wars, could have some nice theming options with a bug-inspired aesthetic. Yeah. I like it. And then Hive Wars. Hive Wars instantly conveys way more about your game. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could even have different, I'm thinking even like different presets that maybe have different amounts of units. That could be kind of wild. But yeah, I fully agree. Hive Wars, despite being maybe slightly more generic, it is so much more communicative. Let me make sure that Hive Wars doesn't already exist. Nope, no Hive Wars on Steam. Let's see about itch.io. Hive Wars game. Necromunda under Hive Wars. Necromunda under Hive Wars. Hive War, under Hive Wars. No, I think we're good. Fuck yeah. All right. Shit. Perfect. Hive Wars might also be an existing IP, but it's a good working title. Doesn't seem like it's an existing IP, but even if it is, yeah, I'll have to do more research to confirm, but it's really good for working. I love it. Sweet. Okay. Vision, movement, interaction. Units, and we're going to replace units with entities. Entities are able to do it by moving towards targets identified within their vision. If no targets are identified, the unit cannot move. Targets can be map elements or other entities. Interaction. Entities can interact with map elements or or not can interact, can impose a variety of effects onto map elements or other entities. They could be hostile or helpful. For example, adding a piece of cover through earth magic. It could be a hostile or helpful. For example, add a piece of cover through earth magic. Damaging an enemy with a sword, or using a healing spell on an ally. Adding a piece of cover to the map. There we go. The entity must have a valid target for the type of interaction they are attempting. Otherwise, they fail to interact. Entities have a defined range there in which they can perceive their map, and we're going to get rid of logic. Entities can, maybe not only, but entities use this perception to help identify targets for use in movement and interaction. There we go. That's Warhammer stuff. In before, as you have to do a trademark search. What is in before? What is in before? I recognize that as slang, but I don't in before. What is it? An internet is short for in before. Used when someone replies to something before something that they anticipate. Person 2, in before shit hits the fan. Oh, interesting. So I pronounced it and said it right. I guess I've just never known what that meant. Interesting. Okay. It's a good name, even if it doesn't get used here. That's fair. That's very fair. Let's see. I'm in here before you have to do a trademark search. Oh, interesting. That's weird. That only kind of makes sense to my brain. I kind of get what that means. But I understand it enough to like roll with it in context, but I don't know that I could explain it to someone else, honestly. But I sort of get what you're saying, yeah. Must have a valid target for the type of interaction they are attempting, otherwise they fail. Otherwise, the interaction fails. Otherwise, the movement fails. I like fail. I like this like fail state aspect. Entities use this perception to help, and I also want it to help identify targets. I don't want it to necessarily be the only way that targets can be identified. I'm actually debating making it to where there's like a standard enemy target of like each team has to like, I don't know, like define like a party leader, and that leader is like always visible to all units. And so if there's like no targets perceived within vision, they just move towards that. I don't know. Something along those lines. Or maybe even like the middle of the map is the standard target. Something like that even. But we'll have to see. Commands. Okay. Last thing. Commands. Each entity contains, or maybe not contains. I don't want to use host. That's too programmy. Each entity has a set of logic that defines how it moves or how it behaves throughout the course of a combat. Has internal and individualized logic that defines how it behaves throughout the course of a round, we'll say. Throughout the course of a round. This logic is conceptualized as the command stack. A set of commands that loops repeatedly, defining the entity's behavior, this logic conceptualized as the command stack. This logic is conceptualized as the command stack, a set of commands that loops infinitely until the end of the round, and is customizable between rounds. Commands influence and I don't want to use interact. Commands influence, or if commands control and define. Let's see. Commands control a unit's or yeah, commands are purchased with gold between rounds, and a random shop of commands will be available after every round with the ability to lock them between rounds. Let's see. That's like kind of like a second aspect of it. Yeah, there we go. Kind of another way to say I'm calling it now. Oh, interesting. Okay. I kind of get that. I might have to refine this a little bit, this description, but I think this captures all the necessary stuff so far. Okay. Cool. So then mechanics. Yeah, and then they had independence and set spikes. Okay. So independence, so cover. I'm going to say elevation. There we go. Elevation. Let's see. Each. I guess I'll go with tile. Tile on the map has a has a elevation value. The let's think how to phrase this rigorously. It's like interactions, but it's not just interactions. It is basically different elevation values can have an effect on the core mechanics of the game, which is to say it can have an effect on vision, on interaction, on movement, but how do I say that rigorously in a way that doesn't leave anything out? Each tile on the map has an elevation value. Various any mechanic that involves two or more tiles can be affected by differences in the given tiles' elevation values. This could include blocking vision. Blocking blocking movement, forced movement, limiting or limiting or enhancing interactions. Blocking or improving. Because also, I think if you're on a higher elevation point, your vision might be increased over lower elevation points. Yeah. It basically modifies other mechanics. It is a modification mechanic. All right. And the last thing, I'm debating on if I really want to include this in the secondary mechanics. Maybe I'll just call it terrain instead of cover. Terrain. Any given map is defined by its placement of map elements, also called terrain. These elements can have various effects on the base mechanics, similar to elevation. and can also be targeted by base mechanics. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't want to go too crazy with it, so I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah. Primary mechanics, secondary mechanics. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I feel good about that. Art. Gonna be hella basic. Probably just squares and symbols. Squares. Probably just colors and symbols. This is more of a proof of concept project. I'll look at detailed art if the mechanics work. Let's see. So you could have like misty maps that impede vision. Yeah, absolutely. Misty maps that impede vision, maps with a lot of trees, which would both mess with movement and provide a lot of cover. You could have mud that's like patches of mud. I'm thinking segments of water, all that sort of stuff. However, I don't want that. This is a thing. Let's think. This is maybe something I need to define on terrain. Any given map tile can have at most 2 map elements. A base element, like grassland, muddy, water, concrete, etc., and an optional extra element like trees, tree, rock, fucking cart, obelisk. It's a good thing to insert at the top of things. Or actually, oh shit, maybe 3, because I do think that foggy would also be good. Can have at most 3 map elements. 3 map elements split into which are defined in 3 categories. Base elements, not a base element. Base elements. Base elements. Things like grassland, mud, muddy, water, concrete. Concrete. Let's call it. Let's see. Let's call it a placed element, or maybe not placed. Maybe what's a word for like on top of? We'll call it a feature element. A feature element. Feature element. Things like tree, rock, cart, obelisk. And we'll call it a weather element. Weather element. Things like fog, rain, dust, storm, etc. etc. Yeah. I think those are the three things I'm thinking. So it's like a base, like biome. Things can be placed on top of that. And then the tile can be affected by like a weather element, like fog, rain, dust storm. That sort of thing. Maybe even like illusion. Maybe I shouldn't even call it a weather element, like a pervasive element. A pervasive element. Things like fog, rain, dust storm, illusion, etc. Yeah, something that like suffuses the whole thing. Yeah. How wild are we thinking elevation gets? Oh, condition. Condition is way better. Conditional. Condition element. Yes, that's way better. That is for later. I don't know how wild elevation gets. We'll have to. That's a map generation playtest sort of question, because we can build the base interactions before we actually define like the magnitude shift that we're gonna have for elevation. Because I want it to be a base feature of things, but I don't know how wild it's gonna get. It'd be cool to have like wild elevation shifts, but who knows? Hard mode, acid rain you need cover from? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Although, I don't know, at least at base, if I want a concept of multiple levels. So, like, I don't know if I would want to fight or to have, like, fights that where, like, you can go into a cave. And so there's, like, an on top of the cave and a below the cave, and, like, you know, entities could be on either. I don't think I want that. I'm picturing there is one plane. If we're thinking about it in, like, math terms, there's one plane, just that plane is not on a singular Y level at every point. The plane is, like, ripply and irregular on its elevation. At least at the start. 2D, exactly. Very 2D. Maybe that's like a 2.0 update to add levels, but I'm not fucking with that right now. That seems way too much. Not a uniform plane. Exactly, not a uniform plane, but it is a single plane. Okay. Art, no theme interpretation, no design, no audio. No audio, at least at first. If I actually decide to publish, I'll have to come back. Maybe I'll make some mouth noises if necessary. All right. Game experience. UI. On top of the rigid pixel art constituting the rest of the art, a more smooth, higher definition style will be incorporated into the UI, utilizing many shades of white and black allowed in the art restriction, anti-aliasing. Jesus. That is way more complex than I'm even imagining. I don't even know what half those things mean. I mean, I do, but I don't know what I would even want to do. I think for the actual user interface, I think I would want it to be very resemblant of SAP. On the shop and design screen, there is a top bar with information about the current round and match. Or on the shop and design screen, colon, I think. Colon. There's a top bar with around the current round match. The rest of the screen will be composed of a visual representation of the party that can be clicked through to toggle the selection. In the middle third, with the command stack, and command inventory, and the command inventory taking up the lower third. These thirds can be expanded or shrunken, similar to the MTG Arena deck building interface. Yeah. There we go. Q. Are you imagining this top-down or isometric? I am currently imagining it top-down, primarily because that will be substantially easier for my capabilities. Isometric would be much more difficult. So I'm imagining it top-down. Yeah. I think I could easily, if I worked with a graphic designer or just an in general like an art designer, I could see myself going more isometric, but right now top down, which will make elevation not necessarily like a challenge, because the both the good and bad thing about this is that in order for the game to function, like, a well-built team will function regardless of if the player can actually, like, fully understand the map, right? Understanding the map is really more of a, not necessarily a quality of life feature, but like a user experience, user satisfaction feature. So if elevation is a bit, it is not like immediately, instantly clear, it's not as detrimental as if it was the same way in something like, not even TFT or SAP, but something like, I don't know, Minecraft. It's because the player doesn't have to directly, the player doesn't actually directly interact with the elevation. Their units do. But it would be very frustrating if your units are behaving in a way that doesn't make sense to you and you can't figure out why. That would be shit. So it does make me think that maybe an important aspect of this will be a free or a replay, a match replay feature or a round replay feature. I think that could actually be important, where you can do like individual steps of like, You know, because each command on the command stack will be on a separate line. So the entire round will be split into discrete steps. So it could be really nice if there was a match or a round replay feature that just allowed you to step through it individually. Then you could examine, okay, where is this unit at in its stack? Why did it make the decision that it did? All that sort of stuff. And I honestly think I would prioritize that feature over making the map more legible. Because I think I am more capable of programming that feature than I am of making the map instantly legible to everyone. And I think that that feature has a more broadly positive effect than just making the map legible. Or more legible. I still hope to make the map very legible, to be clear. But I'm not going to worry about it as much. But it's a good thing. Good thing to keep in mind. Okay. On the very resemblant of SAP on the shop and design screen, top bar. In the round screen. Actually, honestly, here's the real of it. You could just literally... You don't even have to actually play out the round to determine a winner, right? Like, the actual game could easily run the simulation at, 1,000 times speed and determine a winner while the player's client is still fucking loading. So then the base experience of watching the combat could just be within the replay feature. So maybe it has, an auto progress button, but you can pause, go back, go forward. It would have like an almost like a video editor, like step back and step forward menu. Yeah. I'm gonna call it the combat screen because it is a combat at the end of the day. You want to kill all your enemies. In the combat screen, there are a set of controls and progress bar at the bottom of the screen, similar to a video player or editor. The play button will step through the combat at a user-defined speed, certain number of steps per second. Although I should probably present it in a less technical way. There will the player can pause, step back or forward by individual steps or entire or several steps at once, sort of like YouTube's rewind 5-second versus 15-second option. Yeah. Player can select any unit on the screen to view their command stack, as well as any active targets. To view their command stack. While selected, the targets or any targets of the unit will be highlighted on screen. Yeah. To view their command stack, as well as the current location or execution location in the command stack. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And then controls is just mouse click. Mouse click and mouse click and drag. That's it. Players can let's think. Yeah. Mouse click and toggleable option between click and second click versus click and drag. Just mouse. Basically, big mouse hours. Development timeline? Who cares? No timeline for me. I know timelines are important, but I have so little experience. I don't even think I could put together a reasonable timeline. Like I couldn't even begin to guess. So we have a GDD. We have Hive Wars. Let's go. Okay. Now, what do we need? Let's see. Okay. HW tools. And I think I am gonna do... Oh, I also did consider Unreal. And I do remember this. I looked into these three, because these were the three that I was aware of before even reading the... well, they're not the only three, but they're the three that I even had some knowledge of before reading the Thor thing. And I did consider Godot, but I don't have a lot of C++ or C experience. And so it's like, okay, I'd either have to learn one of those or I'd have to learn GDScript. And then there's Game Maker, which has GML, or it has like a low code environment, which is nice. And then there's Unreal, which uses C++, and Epic takes 5%. And between the three, Game Maker is the best for 2D. So I think I'm going to go with Game Maker. I kind of already had that in mind, and I do think I downloaded Game Maker, if I remember correctly, and just like poked around. But I haven't really done much. Let's think. So I think we're going to tentatively go with Game Maker. Tentatively go with Game Maker for engine. Tentatively? No, tentatively. There we go. Tentatively. All right. So, let's see. Do I have it on this computer? I might not. Oh, I do! Game Maker! Let's see what we got. Oh, fuck. It's like 4 p.m. Oh, shit. Actually, okay, that's a good place to end it. I originally only wanted this to be like a 2-hour stream. But we were fucking going. So I feel like we're gonna go yes. Yeah, I originally only wanted this to be like a 2-hour stream, and I think we're about to clock 4. Let's see. Yeah, we're at 3:48. I've nearly doubled my desired stream time, which is not good. I had other things to get done today. Game Maker's already installed. Remove the previous version. Woohoo! Oh, Game Maker's running. That's fair. So I think I'll close it out there. We've updated Game Maker. We've got our GDD done. And we'll go from there. Like I said before, I may or may not do all of the development actually on stream. There's a more than decent chance. I'd say nearly guaranteed that I do at least some of the development off stream. But I will be definitely hopping on stream to develop sometimes. Not even sometimes. I will be doing it often. So yeah. Let's see. Let's read the last few comments and then I'll head out. Ultimately, all of these langs are broadly useless, like Rust is rapidly replacing C, C++. It seems like, not to mention C#. Damn time flies. I know. Yeah, I mean, the majority of my experience is in, well, the majority of my education is in C# and Java. The majority of my professional experience is in JavaScript. And fucking C and C++ are nowhere in the picture. So I'm already kind of like, well, none of them are directly applicable to anything I've ever done. I'm just going to kind of go with the one that's frankly kind of easiest to accomplish what I'm going for, you know? I hate Rust because the syntax is too personally ugly. Wait, like Rust the game? Or what do you mean syntax? Does Rust have its own programming language? Rust game. Does Rust have like a custom language for itself? Rust game engine? It says it's in Unity. Oh, I've never heard of Rust. Rust programming language? Oh, what the fuck? A general... Oh, really new one as well. Rust is a general-purpose programming language emphasizing performance, type safety, and concurrency. It enforces memory safety, meaning that all reference point to valid memory without a garbage... Whoa. That's kind of wacky. What does it look like? He said the syntax sucks. Oh, interesting. What's it most similar to? What other language or programming language is Rust similar to? Rust is a multi-paradigm compiled programming language that developers can view as a modern version of C and C++. Got it. It is a statistically and strongly typed functional language. So it's typed functional. Okay. Right, that makes sense. That makes sense for C and C++. syntax similar to C++ and provides safety-first principles to ensure programmers write stable and extendable asynchronous code. Interesting. Largely viewed as an alternative to other systems programming languages C and C++. Interesting. Okay. That seems very interesting, being memory safe. I don't know if C and C++ are memory safe. But I've run into this as like an issue, like memory safety. Actually, incredibly recently. What the fuck was I programming that I ran into this? Oh, I ran into this when fucking programming for the bot with C#. I kept losing references because it's a whole fucking thing. It has to do with how this actually goes about compiling the code between actions. But yeah, I've actually just been running into this like lack of memory safety within streamer.bot programming. I mean, it's in C#, so it's in a completely very, very different language, but very interesting. Very, very interesting. A programmer friends tell me teaching myself programming through JavaScript is terrifying, but now strict typing feels weird. Dude, look, I'm fine with JavaScript, but I so heavily prefer strict typing. I understand all the arguments against it, but it helps troubleshooting, for me at least, so much. Like, I feel like my troubleshooting sessions when I'm programming in C# are so drastically short. So much shorter than they are when programming in JavaScript. Because everything's so loosey-goosey in JavaScript, which is fair. That's one of the reasons people like it. And it allows you to do some interesting things very easily. But I'm a strict typing, object-oriented kind of fella, but that type of language is kind of going out of fashion. So, you know, I think I got kind of taught in the wrong language, if we're being honest. But I still like it. I don't think the Rust game is programmed in Rust. Yeah, okay. That makes sense now, yeah. I don't know. It's a big thing among young queer programmers, aka the type I know. Yeah. Not that I'm saying you aren't either. You calling me old? Theshel? But yeah, no. I don't run with a lot of programmers. So that's very fair. Like my general circles are not rich with programmers. One of my very, very good friends, one of my best friends is programmer, was also in my program at K-State. But broadly, most of my friends are in other industries. I mean, I think objectively it's better. I agree with troubleshooting, but I'm kind of lazy and used to the syntax. Hey, that's incredibly fair. I do not I don't get down the rabbit hole of like comparing languages very often. I have a slight preference towards object orientation and towards strict typing. But there are, just like the fucking Thor guide, how there's like no best game engine, there's no best language. They're all good for different things, and it really just depends on how well you know it. Because if you try to pick the right language and you have zero experience in it and you want to try to do a really hard task, if you pick the one you have no experience in, but it is technically better, rather than the language you have experience in, if you're actually trying to like complete a project, that's probably the wrong decision. You probably want to go with the language you have more experience in, if it's like an option. But it's also good to like broaden your horizons so that you have more options when picking languages for topics, which is one of the reasons that, I didn't look up fucking engines that use C#. I'm looking for a good engine and I'll learn that language. And I can use that kind of from then on to a degree. I tried making game sims in Python and ran into memory issues by the interpreter. C#.net stuff is too confusing, but JS feels intuitive to me. That's fair. That's incredibly fair. To me, C# is incredibly organized. It's a language that enforces a ton of rules and also very readily allows you to break them if you know how. I think that's the ultimately confusing thing about C# and .NET is that when you first look at it, all you see are the rules and the restraints and like all of the guardrails it puts on you. And it's not very intuitive on how to break those rules. But it's definitely very possible when you need to. Whereas JS goes more towards way less rules and way less guardrails, which I think really allows your creativity to kind of flourish, and I think it allows it to feel more intuitive. But those lack of rules means that it's harder to know why something broke when it did. If you know the language well. If you know C# well, it is like so easy to understand why something breaks. At least compared to JS. That's not to say I don't have long troubleshooting sessions with C#. At least that's all just my experience. Unity uses C#. Don't use Unity. Unity is the one that had all the drama, right? They have like a fucked pricing model now. Unity game engine. Yeah, I love that the fourth result was like Unity game engine controversy. Yeah, this was the one that they like really fucked over their devs. I don't plan on it. It also is like it's like a 3D game engine mostly, right? Yeah, it's mostly focused on like 3D stuff. So I'll stick with Game Maker. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, interesting. Who's Unity made by? Is it like Oracle? Oh no, it's just Unity Technologies. Okay. For some reason I thought it was made by Oracle. Does Oracle make a different game engine? I could be wrong. I might just be thinking of Oracle producing does Oracle produce JavaScript? Oh god, I'm getting all confused. I hear Rust is like that. You have to some things in unsafe scopes. Yeah, which is good. That's the thing I like about C# is that it allows you to break the rules. You just have to tell it, hey, I'm gonna break the rules really quick. And then it'll be like, okay, if you break the rules, we can't fucking help you. And it's like, yep, I understand. I am now going to sign up to break the rules. And then you can do basically everything you can do in JavaScript. But yeah, and I also, to me, the class structure and namespace structure and like organization within a project, to me, that feels more intuitive in C#. But I also think that's largely due to the fact that that's how I learned to program, was under that construct. I think if I'd learned in JavaScript, it would probably be the opposite. But yeah. I should probably leave you there. Yeah. I should probably get headed out. Which is why so many people have jumped to Godot. Can also do 2D, but don't use it. No, I'm gonna the two that I have. I considered Unreal Engine, but the two that have stood out to me in like my own personal research, in the Thor document, The two that have stood out to me are Game Maker and Godot. Honestly, when I look at the games that people make with Godot versus Game Maker, the ones made in Game Maker look more like what I imagine this game looking like. So that is a decent part of my decision making. But if I end up like really hating Game Maker for some reason, I'll probably go to Godot. Especially because it does allow C and C in C++, which I could learn. I could learn C++. I just don't wanna. But anyhow, you're right. I'm going to leave it there. I will see y'all later. May or may not be on tomorrow. I had an idea to do tomorrow. But this morning I saw some things that I need to get done. Like the chapters for fucking Critical Role. So I might end up prioritizing other things over stream. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.